to its fullest, you know? Hello, people. Alright, so we're at that door again. And she gave us the choice of accepting her proposal, rejecting her proposal, or proposition, I guess. Whatever. Same difference. And there's more to be done. It's true, but the whole 9 yards might be another 20 hours, so we'll see. What's going on, trance? Alright, so now I'm supposed to... There's still more to be done. I got as spoiler-free as possible kind of thing going up, so I don't know what's going on. What's going on, Em? What's up? Oh, I didn't do my treat and stuff. Is that what it is? Oh, I got my fancy dancy, it's dangerous to go alone, Zelda shirt. Take this. I ain't falling for it, it's too early, Em. You have to do it when I'm annoyed. Alright, so there's still more to be done. I did see the first ending. The first ending is when the maid tells the white-haired lady that if you just want to give up right now, just take my hand and give up. And that's what I did. It just ends. You don't miss out on any ending, don't worry. Something seemed off. Not only with the story she just had told, with her, and with you, yourself. Assuming everything she had said was the truth. And which or not my mind is made up. Which will strike you first, I wonder, regret or the curse? I'm glad you like it. I think it's kind of fun. You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real, very much so. It's not a legend nor a fairy tale. The witch? Which witch? Is me. That's right. It wasn't the white-haired girl who had claimed to be the witch. That wasn't all. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that, a fabrication. None of your questions had been answered. You still don't know who the painting was, or what had taken place so long ago that caused the mansion to summon people to it. You didn't even know who you were, for that matter. There was still more to be done. You had to find the truth. You needed to find someone, that much was certain. But was the story the maid had told correct about whom? And if it was... I was having fun. I was telling my mom this whole story. She's all caught up with us. What about her? What about the woman whose name you couldn't say? The woman who had so cheerfully called you master? We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house. So we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me too. This is just the beginning, after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? So far, she's enjoying it as well. I think I got too much makeup on my lips. Blah. Mind you, I don't put on lipstick. It's just the putty runs down a little bit. You must say her name. What is my name? You must take her hand. You must make her smile once again. You mustn't reclaim your old self. It's dark. What's going on, Weira? How are you doing, Ildan? Dark. It's dark. Constantly engulfed in darkness. You threw it away every single time. I must break you out of this darkness. I'll give you a world that's not cruel to you. I must escape and take her hand. Because that's the reason... Oh, I've got a wonderful idea. I came here. You can curse them with me. I must return. I must reclaim. We can think of new ways to torture them. We'll all be happier if you stay here. Just think about it. Stay here, in this world. You'll be right at home. No! I did the best I could for you, nothing more. This is nothing where I belong. No matter how much a world of darkness may suit me, you'll never be able to do it. I must reclaim my true self. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 times reclaim myself? Okay. This is brilliant. Do you have any idea how terrible a decision that is? Do you have any idea why I fabricated that story? It was all for you. So stay here. Stay right where you are. The darkness suits you better. You too. Remember when someone told you not too long ago that you could handle the stories because they weren't your own? That you were able to bear the tragedies because they happened to others? If that had been your suffering, if the secrets you had kept buried away for so long had come out, you couldn't possibly have endured it. 3. But you're a sharp one. I'm sure you intend to keep those secrets tucked away forever. Hold on. Hold on. This is really creepy sounds too. Do you really think I'm going to let you do that though? Whatever you try to hide, I'll make sure your beloved hears every last detail. 4? This sounds like Velcro being ripped currently. Welcome Raiders, I'm Kenner OAG, currently playing the house in Fata Morgana. Thanks for doing a shout out. And defend. How foolish can you be? Despite all my encouragement, you still insisting on your old self back? Come on, Kmart. What do you have to gain from that? How's the rest of the ghost sushi for you? Nothing but filthy, ugly tragedy awaits you down this path. That's... It was at 4 or 5. Shit. Don't get your hopes up, my dear. There's nothing for you there. You have nothing. I'm offering you a place by my side. You should just take it. There is no salvation for you anywhere. None. At all. Anywhere. From anyone. Ever.
Thank you.
Thank you for the host. I think that's 5. He has long since lost all grip on reality. You think there's anything you can do for her now? Despite having repeatedly failed to even regain yourself? Okay, now we're on 6. I think it's 7 and then we choose the other one. Well, I suppose if you're going to be stubborn, as much as I don't want to, I have to place a curse on your soul. Yeah, I ran out of VIP spots, so I had to make him a mod. It's not my choice. I talked to upper management and they were cool with it though. That's right. The white-haired girl was never at the mansion. Wait, so this was all a lie? You fuckers. There is still a story left untold. What? The 4th door was all a lie. What do you mean? It was not some sweet little tragedy. The story you told was pure fantasy. No, that was the truth. That was where it all began. None of what happened then, you spent a number of years lost until you showed up here and what? You reach out, grasping for it. You pull yourself in. Your silhouette, which had been hazy until now, begins to take form. Your mind, your conscience, your heart, your soul, and your body. Supple. Who are you? The veil in your mind dissipates. A crack forms in the shell encasing you, then another. The invisible shackles chaining your spirit fall to the floor. Reality fades in atop the indistinct, foggy world around you. Bony fingers appear before your eyes. Long hair. Your voice. No, my voice. My body. My fingers. My arms are frail and my joints are weak. But despite my resemblance to the white-haired girl, I am not her. This is who I am. I have finally reclaimed myself. You weren't waiting for the white-haired girl. You were waiting for me. And that's exactly why I came. What? No idea what you were talking about. I've always waited for the white-haired. There was never a white-haired girl. There was only... this time. This time I must say her name. She is... Giselle. There was only you. I am... Giselle? No, I am not Giselle. Wait a minute, ghost? You're Giselle now? I am a servant of the house, and I am the witch. The cause? You are not a witch. The witch is someone else. Why do you insist that you're the witch? I guess. What changed you so much? Oh, sup? Ghost, you can stay.
Ah, fuck!
The shadowy figure in the master bedroom, that was her. A glimpse into her past. I'm sure this is Giselle, but why is she so different?
Wait, I beg of you! Ah!
What happened to the spark she used to have? And a bell on a collar? Sure. Or necklace, I mean, not collar. Where did we get that idea from? Where did the light she once shone upon the world go? I have to remember. I must remember. This cannot end until I have. This is no longer a story. No, what I need to face is my past. And her heart. I got like a little bug floating somewhere. It was even present in the story she made up. Everything about it had been changed. The past I lived and the wounds she bore were more grounded in harsh reality, not wrapped in a film of fairy tale magic. That was the final tale, and it was all true. That's how it happened. It was a bittersweet story. No, how can you not see this? Yes, it was a beautiful tragedy, but was there even a scrap of humanity in it? Behind the 3 preceding doors, there had been a constant thread of ugliness and conflicting motivations, and there was hardly a trace of that behind the 4th door. The characters felt like nothing more than characters. Is that what you want to turn into? Hold on, Doc. Is that what you want our history to become? Our history? But I don't remember anything at all. You don't remember anything? What was the rest of your game? It was actually kind of cool. I don't know if anyone else had played. What was it? Haunting Grounds? No, I don't want to. I don't need a past or a future. All I have left inside me is insanity. Giselle? No, that's not my name. Please stop trying to confuse me. I'm fine with things the way they are. If it means I don't have to hurt, that's all I want. So please, just let me keep being the maid. Let me keep being a guide, not some foolish girl. Is that what she honestly desires? Does she want to cast aside her past for good? If so, then... Okay. Kind of shitty to do. They say make another save here just in case. I won't force her. And this is supposed to give me another ending. I can't force her to do something she doesn't want to. She doesn't reclaim herself on her own. I'll never get to hear her say my name again. But if she wants to leave all that behind her, then it's not my place to interfere. Some things that would warrant her wanting to rewrite her past, erasing me entirely. But I think, more than anything, I'm afraid of hurting her, of breaking her any more than she already is. No, mine is a more cowardly fear. I'm just afraid she'll no longer take my hand. Right, then. What should have been behind the door was our life together. But for her, there's nothing but misery there anymore. In our time together, and in me. Forget everything I've said. Hell within the 4th door was the whole truth. I can live with that. Like, see, I don't like getting the shitty endings. I would just ask you to allow me one thing. To remain by your side. Hey. Of course you may. I was the one who asked you to forget about everything and live in eternal darkness with me. What a silly question. You think I would ever say no? Right. You did, didn't you? Yes, I did. Worry not, I will banish the memory. I'm sure you were simply disoriented, having learned who you are. It's nothing to fear. Only happiness awaits you. I'm getting excited now. Oh. What should we do first? Okay, I know. We should throw a party in commemoration of your decision to remain here with me. I shall prepare the most wonderful feast, my sweet girl. You forget all about him, alright? If that is what you desire, I will turn the hose on you, ghost. You calm down. We'll never be anyone ever again. So yeah, to get the actual ending, I guess you have to see all the bad endings, which are 7, and then the 8th one's the good one, or it's 8, and then the 9th one's the good one. I don't know. There's a shit ton of them. You're not the brightest, are you, my dear? You knew this would happen if you took this road. You would have been happier going down it without reclaiming yourself at all. Absolutely brilliant. Weight has been lifted off my shoulders. My centuries-long wish has been realized. The one thing I didn't expect was for you to recover yourself, but it all turned out the same in the end. You know what? Sure. See how you're away. I'll pray for you both to be happy. Oh, we get the little doggo fire though. Get out of the way, maid. Master, master. Well, thank goodness you have awoken. I was getting worried there for a moment. What kind of herbal tea would you like to start your day with? I have some wonderful chamomile leaves if you would like. Perhaps your tastes have changed since last we met. Tell me, master. No, that will do. As you wish. Hey, master, can I hope for you to compliment my tea again? Say it is the best you have ever had? Master? Oh, yes. I'm sure I'll have something nice to say about it. You were never one to withhold your praise, master. Such a gentle-mannered, kind-hearted girl. Have I ever praised her tea before? I do recall telling her when I saw her gathering strange weeds from the garden for her herbal tea, that doing so at this house, given its reputation, only made her look like a real witch. And how did she react to that? She puffed her cheeks and frowned and then... can't remember. She thinks I'm the white-haired girl, and she calls me master, completely oblivious to how absurd that sounds. But she won't say my name. Eventually, I'll probably forget it too. My name, who I am, everything that's happened to us, washed away by darkness, never to be found again. She's smiling. I know it's not real, but I honestly don't care anymore. All that matters is that she's smiling. We get the little doggo butt. Bad ending 3. Bonjour. I'm not gonna say poopy, but kinda. Oh. This is such a weird... like, isn't this... it ruins immersion. I don't like that so much. Not remembering isn't an option. I also have to find how the hell do you quick save? That might be quick save. No matter what she says, I know I'm right. And if she doesn't reclaim her old self, I'll never get to hear her say my name again. I know I'm being selfish here, but I can't do that. If you're afraid of what you might find, we can remember together. I haven't gotten everything back yet myself. Let's open the real door, together. There are no other doors to open, but there is. One that can only open by our hands because they exist between the two of us. Not a door of physical form, but the door to your heart. Okay, well, that's different. The door to... I grasp her unnaturally cold hand. A hand that long ago once had warmth. If she can't lead the way, then I have to. I must pick up the pieces of our erased history so we can both reclaim ourselves. Find the actual truth. No matter what we may uncover, I will not let go of his hand. No, I mustn't let go of it. Darkness falls over the world around us. Actually, I want to see if this is a quick save. Are you a quick save? I guess not. The floor upon which we had been standing flickers out of existence, sending us dropping into an endless abyss. The dark pit, this is her door. her history, her heart. Let's try this one more time. It's not a sweet story by any means. It's a story of betrayal, anger, and hatred. We cause each other pain, but that's the road we traveled. And down that road lies all the answers. The fourth door. The fifth door. Actually, $10.99. It's been several days since I left the capital. I could still see it when I closed my eyes. The people lined up on the Grand Pont, awaiting entry, eager to start a new life there, brimming with hope. It was a city people were willing to pay high taxes to live in. If you were a performer, you could get some of those costs shaved down a bit by putting those skills to use. The capital was harsh on those who wanted in and apathetic about all who left. It was composed of a powerful nobility and clergy, wealthy merchants and bankers, and a large population of poor. And it was the city I had called home for a long time. I didn't know how much where we were headed. It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, alright then. The coachman was frustratingly taciturn. He acted as though he had gotten stuck transporting a prisoner. Though that was hardly a stretch. From his point of view, I was nothing more than a criminal. Even the times he would acknowledge I had said anything, he made no effort to hide the scorn in his eyes. And he didn't regret ever taking this job. I would just fall silent again. The road was gradually... I have to Google. Quick.
Damn it, you're dead next time I see you.
Alright, I just don't know how to do it. The road was gradually getting narrower. We had long since left the paved city roads behind, and were now traveling along a couple of worn-down grooves in the forest. How did I end up here? Why was I being subjected to this? I was done thinking about it. The more I thought on it, the less fair it seemed. The more I remembered, the worse it hurt. All I could do anymore was close my eyes and weather the storm. Deep within the dense woods, a mansion appeared before us, like the fading world into view after a dream. It didn't seem to be an especially large house, but it had obviously been constructed with a great deal of care, and it was, thankfully, not standing in ruins. This deep in the forest? The carriage came to a stop, and the coachman climbed down, signaling with his chin for me to get out. Thank you, very much. You must be tired of such a long journey. This is the mansion I am looking for, yes? But the driver didn't even acknowledge me, getting back onto the carriage and setting off into the forest. He seemed to want to get it as far away from here as quickly as possible. He could have said something. Oh well. That's about all I could say anyway. Oh well. I can't blame anyone for being here, or for his wanting to get out. I should get going, I guess. Getting a better look at it, the house's windows were, strangely enough, all shuttered. It was probably dark as pitch inside. Does no one live here? Well, if that's the case, then why was I placed my hand on the front door. Such a big door. What if I couldn't get in? It was deja vu feeling. I already read all this shit before. I had no idea what else there was in the area. If the door didn't open, then I would die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I was not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. The door was heavy, and though it seemed to protest my attempts to enter, it still opened much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking at it, I got the strangest impression that the light was being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it felt as though I was about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I closed the door, it was so dark I couldn't even tell where I was walking. I wonder if the window is open. Now I managed to fumble my way over to a window. It was tightly shuttered, and the shutters caked with rust. I was probably not getting it open without a fight. Darn, not a hint of light. I didn't see my hand wave in front of my face. It felt as though the floor would fall out from under me, and I would sink into eternal darkness if I didn't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walked forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There was a door at the end of the long corridor. I pulled it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushed past me. It was too dark to see anything, but I could feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness gripped me. Hello? Is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. My voice simply disappeared into the void. No response. As I pushed forward through the freezing air, for a split second I spotted a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I was able to make out a large window. Knowing the others, it wasn't shuttered. What do we have here? Drapes. I see a little light beyond. My chances were slim. This is when she sees the thing again. Like, yeah, we went all through this. I'm very confuzzled. Like, I don't want to read the entire chapter again. And the witch's name is Morgana. It's me. Yeah, we know this. Yes, that was our first encounter. It was nothing flowery or dramatic. It was rather laced with suspicion and wariness. We knew nothing about one another. Okay, this is new. And I had no interest in changing that, I think. But nonetheless, that was where it all began. The nice thing is if I hold the skip button, it stops if I haven't seen it. Where my history with her commenced. Okay, so now this is new? There we go. The woman had jade eyes. Open wide, they glimmered like jewels in the light shining through the stained glass window. He seemed to be at a loss for words. I wasn't lying, per se. The rumor said a witch lived in the house, and I was the only one who filled that criteria. Thus, said rumors could be interpreted to be talking about me. After staring at me dumbfounded for a few moments, the woman suddenly burst into laughter. Oh wow. Here I was thinking you were kind of scary, and it turns out you're actually quite funny. What? I would never have guessed you were someone to tell such a ridiculous joke with a straight face. I wasn't, so I don't know how to do a quick save in this game yet, so I'm gonna have to make another save at some point. Why don't I just we'll make the special save. We did that one already. We'll get rid of you. You'll be my quick save area. You don't look like a witch at all. I mean, it's dark and I can't really see. But you seem like a rather handsome man. The word witch. The word witch has broader meaning than just a woman who practices magic. An unholy person with cursed powers, man or woman, can be considered a witch, and they should be burned. I think I get what you're trying to say, but my mental image of a witch is definitely more a woman. So you're not a witch. To tell you the truth, I didn't know who might be here, which had me rather scared. I think I can make this work. What do you... Pleasure to meet you, Master. Master? I was sent here from your old home. I was an Abigail for your mother, but, well, I might have made a little goof. I froze the moment the word left her mouth. Home. It rattled around in my skull, shaking up terrible memories that almost brought me to my knees. Why, after all these years, were they reaching out to me now? But his mother's dead, and not even sending someone to bring me back, just sending someone. To what end? For what purpose had they shipped an Abigail out to this remote mansion? I mean, that was a lie too? What was my mother thinking? Was this another one of her attempts to break my curse? What do you mean you made a little goof? My voice came out weak. I did my best not to let it show on my face. It was a teeny tiny mistake. But it's still the same dude they're talking to. It's still Michael. Nothing you need to concern yourself with. Oh, but I guess if we're going with the whole last story was a lie, that would make sense. Or, well, I guess it doesn't make sense, but it could make sense. What did Mother say about me? Well, it was actually your father who told me to come here. I never really spoke to your mother much. Father sent you? That made even less sense. Why would he have? Did Father even know I was here? Well, if he had known, I would have been... Who was this woman? And what was her goal in asking to stay here? In the theory, the protagonist might... Well, I mean, it doesn't even matter about that at all. Michael literally said, I killed my mom during childbirth. Like, and everyone else who breastfed him. Well, there you have it. I'll be here for a while. If you need me for anything, don't hesitate to ask. I'm confident I can handle most everyday tasks. Now, where should I begin? Oh, I know. Are you hungry, Master? Food? I can't imagine you eat much, being as skinny as you are. Possibly. Like, I mean, it couldn't be any. It could be nothing. I turned my back on her without responding. It hasn't quite said that he has a curse. Only that a witch does there or something. No matter what her goal was, she had been sent from that house. Just forget the other story. I'll work on that. There was no way anything good could come of them, and there was no way I could live with someone who had ties to them. I prayed she would take the hint, give up, and leave. Master? And so I kept ignoring her. Master! I ignored her. What would you like for supper? Nothing! But failed, spinning back and shouting. Her eyes went wide, and then she gave a sheepish giggle. I glared at her as she fidgeted uncomfortably. Eating is one of the most basic human needs, so if you're hungry, you should really eat. But I didn't want. What was that sound? Must you ask? Not a very polite thing to ask a lady, you know. Huh? You know, it was a long trip and all I had to eat on the road was dried fruit. I felt like some kind of animal. So, what I'm trying to say is that I'm hungry. It wasn't the sound of her stomach growling, was it? I thought lightning had struck in the distance. And would like some supper. The kitchen is at the far end of the hall on the first floor. There's food in the cellar. Help yourself to any of it. Thank you so much. I honestly feel like I haven't eaten in days. I'm about to die of starvation. I shouldn't need any help finding it. I plan on exploring the house anyway. Rather exciting being in a new place. So happy. Damn it. That did not go as planned. Oh well. You can do as she pleases. I'll have nothing to do with it. Oh, Master, are you sure you don't... No. Master, what is it now? My name is Giselle. It's a pleasure to meet you. Your name is Ghost, and you will accept that. And your name, Master? I actually left the room that time, making my way back to my chambers. At some point, I would seriously have to chase her out. Especially considering she had come from that house. But regardless, I was not terribly fond of her. Watch. Pretty much, like, it could be Ghost by the end of this. Everything I know was a lie. I didn't really understand, Michael. That was probably because we were still essentially strangers. Having been sent to the mansion as reparation for my mistakes, I wasn't sure who I might find there, but I was tentatively convinced he wasn't a terrible person. He didn't do anything to me except stay away. He wasn't most of the time in his chambers, which he had told me to never enter under any circumstances, so we rarely encountered one another in the halls. For that reason, I made an effort to be kind and cheerful on the sporadic occasions we did cross paths. I figured if I kept that up long enough, it would eventually warm up to me. And as new housemates, being able to enjoy our time together was obviously preferable to the alternative. If I did manage to break the ice, I hoped we would be able to do some talking about the mansion, about him, and about me. I just had to keep working on it. Michael didn't need me to take care of him. I can read some. He handled his own day-to-day needs and activities by himself, and in fact, he didn't ask me for anything. An aristocrat who had no use for his servant. I hadn't met anyone like him before. Alright then. About all I can do was clean. I wasn't sure how his room looked, but the rest of the house was, quite frankly, an absolute disaster. The dust was so heavy it was obvious it hadn't been touched in years. Let's get started. It couldn't be healthy to live in these conditions, so I set out to clean each room in the house one by one. That said, it wasn't going to be an easy task. Not because I was bad at cleaning, in fact, I consider myself quite good at it. But because it was near impossible to find all the dust and grime that needed cleaning under the flickering light of a candle. I can't understand how anyone sane can live in this dark. What's wrong with him? Maybe he's actually a vampire. Oh god, wouldn't that be something? I can see it now, him sneaking out every night to suck the blood of pretty girls. Priceless. That means I'm in trouble. Look at me, Miss One-Woman Comedy Show here. Yep. I'm able to get him to warm up to me, though. Maybe that'll give me a little more room to make some changes. Like opening some windows. No light, no fresh air? No thank you. Anyway. I set the candlestick down, pulled over a chair to stand on, and started wiping down the shelf. As long as you think you're funny, that's good. What's shaking diabetes? The chair's legs seemed to be uneven as it wobbled slightly beneath me. So many books. I wonder, do they all belong to him? See, now we're doing a bunch of the overlapping shit, which I hate. The new parchment was expensive, so it was rather astonishing seeing this many stacks of it in one place. There were even some books with bulky, extravagantly decorated covers. He does come from an esteemed family. Not enough time at his family's home. There was a constant bustle of servants and guests. The exact opposite of what this mansion was like. Why had he left his home? What had he done to be sent all the way out here to this remote mansion with a less than savory reputation? I need to be careful not to overstep my bounds. I'm a servant now. A servant. But once the thought had crossed my mind, I couldn't get it out. I'd always had a bad tendency to chase my curiosities as soon as they struck, pushing to scratch the itch no matter how much my actions annoyed others. I couldn't do that here, though. I was simply a servant, and if I got on Michael's bad side, I risked getting thrown out. I wonder what kind of books he's got in here. So I attempted to distract myself. I grabbed one of the books and attempted to pull it out. But the strings binding the parchment must have gotten tangled at the back. Whoa! Because the books on either side tilted back with it. And then the entire row came crashing down on top of me. For cripe's sake. I had fallen off the chair and a downpour of books was still coming down on me. A mountain of dust with it. Seriously? What are you doing? What? Suddenly Michael was there, looking down at me from a little ways away. There was, as usual, not much I could read from his expression, but I could hear a vague trace of exasperation in his voice. I was doing some cleaning and... Impressive work. I'm usually better than this. Well, you and me both. You and me both. It's just, you're so pretty. It's so dark. Mistakes should be expected. I really think we should open some windows, Master. Get some light, some air flowing through here. I never asked you to clean anything. You did this entirely yourself. But there's so much dust. It can't be good for you. I'm perfectly healthy. I don't see the problem. Had he even seen himself? No way someone that skinny was perfectly healthy. You look like you have something to say. You make out my face in this darkness? You know. Wanted to be useful, and cleaning is about all I can do here, so, you know. I was sensing something else, but alright. He let out a sigh, stepped over towards the pile of books, and then reached his hand down for me. I suddenly felt a pang of embarrassment about the fact that I was still splayed out on the floor. I raised my hand up to take his, only for him to pick up a book instead. You could at least help me up. You have legs, he said, casually returning the book to the top shelf. Maybe I was wrong. God, voices remind me of like an ill-done character. Maybe he was a terrible person. Bully. So, Master, are all these books yours? Giselle asked, not a trace of remorse visible on her face, despite having made a mess of the room she was supposedly trying to clean. I gave a curt nod. Really? That's impressive. Must have been hard work getting them all in here, huh? There's got to be 100 books here. You'd fill a whole carriage at least. It's like you've got your own personal library. She had been pouting only a few moments earlier, but her smile was back in short order. Her jade eyes were like little balls of curiosity, glittering in the faint candlelight. I was not particularly fond of overexpressive, rather overly curious women. Did they not care that they trampled uninvited into other people's personal spaces? Or were they not even aware that their actions were invasive? I averted my gaze from hers. I receive one roughly every month. Ah, I see. Wait. She turned back towards the shelves. I presume she understood the implication of what I had just said. With the fact that there were nearly 100 tomes here, and I received only one a month. Huh? Giselle fell silent. I couldn't blame her if she thought my circumstances, or my family, or my life bizarre. But I didn't care what she thought of me. I know, Fabian. I think actually last time I saw you, you were getting some gray. Mine's at least fake. And I'm older than you. But I didn't care what she thought of me. In fact, it was to my advantage for her to be uncomfortable. I just needed her to stay quiet and keep her nose out of my business. There's more than I thought. I said not to her, but to myself. I had no reason to count the passage of time anymore. Only the books served as a record of how long I had been here. 121? What? There are 121 books. 10 years in 1 month. Was she Rain Man? You were counting? I thought she had just sheepishly gone quiet. An inscrutable woman. You've been here in the mansion for that long? All by yourself? The truth was, there have been times when I wasn't alone, but Giselle had no need to know that. You already know the answer. A look of pity formed in Giselle's eyes. Enough. I never asked her for sympathy. I knocked shit down. I'm here by choice. You mean you weren't banished here? Oh. No restraint, this woman. No. I came here out of my own volition. I didn't care enough to elaborate, though. Picking up another book off the floor, I brushed the dust off its cover. It was a gaudily decorated tome. It's a very fancy book, isn't it? Apparently Giselle was unable to take a hint. What's it about? A sign open to no page in particular, sticking the book out towards her. It was a servant and a woman. There was no way she could read. Alright, guys. Let's see here. Although I don't believe in women going to college. This land is hardly suitable for cultivation. It can only produce over sour grapes. I would probably get more out of it if I tore down the fields and made it into a market. What? I'm just joking. Don't tell my mom. Sounds like a lord's diary. You can read? I was caught slightly off guard. It was rare for a noble woman to be able to read and write, let alone a servant. Was she truly what she claimed to be? I had someone to teach me. So is this book any... No, don't, I'm sorry. It's dull, worthless tripe. I can't imagine why anyone thought it would be worth binding. Tough crowd. It's not very often you get to see a lord's diary. I'm rather curious what kinds of things he griped about. Lord or king, what value was there in another's grumbling? There was no knowledge contained within that book, just emotion, unsightly scribbles. And there was nothing more exhausting in this world than being emotional. If you want to read it, be my guest. That wasn't my intention, but alright. Once I get the whole mansion cleaned, I'll read it. I told you, you don't have to clean. Oh, I've got an idea, Master. If you're interested, maybe we could read together. Did you hear a word I just said? It's dull, worthless tripe. Still, you might see it differently if you read it with someone else. I'm sure there are some books here you could enjoy, Master. You're wasting your time. Hold on. Bad boy saved. Stupid platinum trophy hunt. The suspicion and restraint budding between us was trite and insignificant at this point. It was smiling, after all. If I had been able to maintain that distance, then perhaps I wouldn't have ended up hurting her. It had been a little under 2 weeks since I moved in with Michael. Though we lived in the same house, we rarely saw each other. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can technically just hold down auto skip. On lucky days, I wouldn't see him at all. Be done in 30 minutes. I wasn't sure if he ate in his room, or our schedules were simply misaligned, but we never had any meals together. Perhaps he was deliberately avoiding me. That has to be it. I know a servant and master don't usually eat at the same table, but even so, be a little less obvious about it. Am I really that much of a nuisance? I'm not doing anything inappropriate, am I? I'm being pleasant and sociable, aren't I? I haven't given him any reason not to like me, I think. Oh. He had never been very enthusiastic about me staying here. But I hadn't been given a choice. I had been sent here by his family. Besides. No, out with the negative thoughts. Gotta stay positive. Yeah, he hasn't tried to chase me out yet. I just haven't broken the ice. I had to stay positive. Optimistic. Happy thoughts. And be myself. As long as I kept working at it with enough time, Michael would surely come around and not be so distant. I've got a goal, so let's get to work. First, I make supper, then I ask him to have it with me. Gotta be proactive when it comes to the recluse types. Alright, here goes. Or here would go. But we're almost out of supplies. Well, so much for that. The cellar was where the non-perishable food was stored. Dried food, smoked meats, cheeses, and a small scattering of root vegetables. Looking at this makes me feel like a soldier holding down a castle's fortifications. Had Michael really gone 10 years on nothing but this? I would have raised the white flag long ago. Like someone can order 2,000. Oh my god. I mean, for that you should just give, like, you know, $100, bam. Just give you the 2 dozen. He said he hadn't left the mansion at all in those 10 years, because as far as I know, this game actually isn't cheap. I assume he at least goes out to get supplies, right? Running out of food is kind of a life or death matter. I can't believe he hasn't set foot outside even once in... What are you babbling on about? Oh no, he overheard me. I assume you were talking to someone. Huh? Does anyone else live here, Master? I haven't seen anyone. It is just the two of us. Alive, anyway. You mean there are ghosts? Something of the sort. Here you go again with the jokes. We also don't know if he can touch her. I'm not a child. You're not going to trick me like that. There are adults who believe in such things. I suppose, but I don't really believe in ghosts or demons or curses or any of that. The church just tries to convince people they're real so they can squeeze more money out of them. We're going to have to turn you over to the church, you blasphemer? No. I pray every day, honest. I don't particularly care either way. Returning to my chambers. Oh yeah, this is 100% the Eldon. Bully or doesn't care. What? Already? Whatever. You didn't come down for food? I only came down because I heard voices. A moment. Please just wait a second. What? It's actually kind of interesting when you're telling me they make, like, platinum games for, you know, like $1. Our stores are almost empty. This would be a crime to hold auto skip just to get a platinum, though. I would have definitely looked down upon you, frown or shake fingers or something like that. What do you normally do when you need more food? I'll happily accompany you on a trip to the market. Already? That was fast. There are 2 of us. I really don't need that much, do I? In the dim light, it was difficult to make out Michael's expression, but I thought I could see a tinge of annoyance on his face. What's your grudge, Giselle? You said you wanted to get closer to him. Is that a parsnip? Michael saw a tangled ball of roots. The reason I asked because the parsnip looked like it was on the verge of total decomposition. See, there's still food. He then handed it to me. Wait, you want to eat that? It's clear we've seen better days. You're going to get sick. Or are you telling me you can survive on rotten vegetables? Of course I won't eat. How was Steins Gate? I've heard good things about that. I watched part of the anime because like a bunch of weeby people recommend it, but weeby people love everything weeby. That's kind of the whole gist of it, right? And I don't know, it was kind of boring. I just figured you were hardy enough to survive. You think I am? Oh, he is definitely a jerk. Or that the resulting diarrhea might reduce your appetite. You're kidding, right? You can't be serious. Anyways, we should bury that outside. Then we can go purchase fresh supplies. I told you, I don't go outside. Then how do you... Huh? A visitor? God, not again. Who could it be? There was never a good visitor. Perfect timing. You're a servant. Make yourself useful and go retrieve the package. If it's not a delivery but a wanderer, chase them off. What? Package? Master? Mind if I go still quite interested? Hold on a second. So good stuff then? What are you talking about? He's gone. What kind of delivery is he expecting? Michael stood there unmoving, veiled in shadow. He glanced over at me, then threw his gaze to the front door. At his command, I raised the bar, pulling open the door. After nearly 2 weeks inside, the light from the setting sun almost blinded me. The world went white, my head pounding. After a few moments of intense blinking, my eyes acclimated themselves to the evening sunlight. There was no one outside, only a crate easily large enough to fit a child. Is this the package? Master? I turned back to face Michael, but he wouldn't meet my eyes. Though it seemed more like he was avoiding looking at the light than at me. He's starting to seem more and more like a vampire. Not that I believe in vampires, of course. Regardless, I pray there's nothing bad in here. That's heavy. Master, could I get some help? Gee, thanks. I am a servant, admittedly, but this is a lot to ask of just one girl. A little help sure would be nice. Once inside, close and bar the door. He said dispassionately, his head still turned towards the darkness. As you wish, Master. Once the door was shut, I found myself sucked back into a world of darkness. It hadn't even been 2 weeks, but the lack of light was beginning to become my normal. What's that world growing farther and farther away? Being holed up in here is definitely not good for me. I should go for a walk sometime. Maybe plant some flowers or vegetables. Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe I can grow that old tango of roots into some fresh parsnip. I actually really like parsnips. What else do we have to plant? It'd be great if there were some flower seeds. What are you doing? Open the box. Now. As you wish, Master. Oh, there's food inside. In the box there's a burlap sack filled with berries, root vegetables, and smoked meats, as well as an assortment of bread, fruits, and wine. Aside from the fruit and bread, everything else was the same as what Michael kept in the cellar. And buried beneath the burlap sack was a single book. 1 book a month. He really hasn't gone outside in 10 years. It appears you have begun to grasp the situation. Yeah, but why? This was delivered by someone from your house, Master, wasn't it? A servant, I assume. Why would they leave without saying anything? No one wants to talk to a cursed man. In the past, they would occasionally check in on me, but that hasn't happened recently. They think you're cursed? Alright, you don't believe in curses. Then come up with your own explanation. An excuse for them to want to stay away from me. That, for example, I killed someone, or maybe that I'm insane. I couldn't. Regardless, I am not normal. Bring the food down to the cellar, the book to the library. You are, of course, free to refuse and run back off into the woods. I'll do it.
He's so peaceful, isn't he? Peaceful little cunt.
Alright. Can you take care of that? Hey, what is it? I just noticed that there's something else in here. It's wrapped in cloth. What could it be? Oh, a painting. For you to hang up somewhere in the house, I presume. It's so dark I can't see it very well, but I'm sure it's... Don't touch that. What? Is he so grumpy? Michael, who had kept his distance from me until that point, suddenly marched over and ripped the painting from my grasp. Master? His face was twisted into a look I had never seen him make before. Was it indignation, disgust, hatred, panic? I couldn't tell, but there was more than enough negative pressure to cause me to flinch back. Is that painting perhaps something important? A landscape painting. He muttered under his breath, the tension melting away from his face. I was left looking at his usual blank, impenetrable expression, but his eyes were still fixated on that picture, staring at it unblinkingly. Why a landscape painting? Some kind of passive-aggressive message? It's not of anywhere nearby. Did they travel somewhere? Oh, it's not of that girl. Well, that's an improvement. Master? Oh, you're still here? Still here? Of course I'm still here. Who do you think you asked to take care of the package? What's with you? Just run over here and snatch that painting from me. You scared me. Would you maybe explain yourself? What's so special about that painting? I don't believe that's any of your business. None of my... Of course it is. You ripped it out of my hands like I was some kind of thief. I have a right to know what it was all about, and maybe an apology while you're at it. You told me to open the box, so I did. Then you all of a sudden, you're angry. Speaking of all of a sudden angry, break time. So I'll be back in a moment. You guys behave. Excuse me. We did it! Somehow. Alright, you quiet down. Did I mute this one, or is... I did. Oh, video game, video game, video game. Alright, let me resave this bad boy. And this is like my fake quick save, because I don't know how to quick save. How to... Oh, more... No. Save, yes. Bring your... Alright. Brings up a menu. Yes, I get that. I don't know. Somebody help me out here. We are not equals. Aw, what the shit? Do not mistake yourself for my friend. You have a right to know? You have no such thing. You don't have to be rude. I'll say it again. Leave if you don't like it here. I never asked for you to be here. That was your wish. My wish? Are you out of your mind? I never asked for this. I never wished for it. Who in the right mind would want to be sent to this house in somewhere in the middle of nowhere? Who would ever want to go through that? No. Calm down, Giselle. Can't get angry. You're right. That is what I wanted. But I never wanted to make you mad or for us to argue like this. I just wanted to get to know you better. To get closer to you. I mean, it would make things smoother for the both of us. It would make living together more enjoyable for us. Listen carefully. This is very important for you to understand. Do not try to involve yourself with me. Do not go probing around for information. And if you can't do that, leave. I completely shut out. The glare he was giving me and the standoffish aura he was emanating was reflected in his tone of voice. Why? Why do you try to push me away like that? It seemed Giselle really didn't know much about me. Despite being sent here from my house, she was unaware of the monthly deliveries, as well as the reason why I lived in the mansion at all by myself. Why, though, would they have not told her anything? Why had she been sent here or left completely in the dark? Giselle looked up at me, fear and bewilderment in her eyes, though I thought I could see a glint of suspicion beneath it all, like her true feelings were bubbling to the surface. Everyone had darkness in them they kept hidden. No one was exactly who they appeared to be. She was undoubtedly thinking, I'm not here because I want to be. Even from the moment I first saw her, her bubbly, sweet effect was all a facade. She thought I was dense enough not to realize? She was no different than anyone else. What I didn't understand, though, was why she refused to leave no matter how hard I pushed. What was she hiding beneath that innocent-looking face? What was she thinking? What did she carry on her shoulders? Everyone is hiding something, deceiving those around them. I had to figure out what she really was. May I ask you something? Yes. On the day you arrived, you said you made a teeny tiny mistake while working at my family's house. Tell me about that. What did you do at the Bollinger estate? In that moment, brief though it was, her disposition wavered. Fear? Terror? No, perhaps anger? I couldn't tell. Nevertheless, it was abundantly clear that that was a subject she had no interest in me breaching. And so she had borne her fangs. The smile she'd done now was visibly forced. It's nothing you need to concern yourself with, Master. I promise, it was an insignificant little thing. She couldn't say. Why couldn't she tell me? What had she done there? What did this woman know about that house? What did she know about me? What was concealed beneath that smile of hers?
Finished super duper fast and super early.
Diabetes always bragging about his races. I'm the master of this house and you are a servant. And you still refuse to tell me? Like I said, it's nothing. There's no reason to bother you. The mere servant's personal blunders, master. What are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything. You should tell me exactly what you did at the Bollinger estate. Like I said. Tell me. Tell me. You won't tell me a thing about yourself, and yet you demand others to tell you about themselves? Here you are, practically threatening me. Demand I tell you something I don't want to talk about, and you still haven't told me anything about the painting. Oh, so I was right. You do have something to hide. How many times must I repeat myself? We are not equals. I don't care if it's insignificant or something you don't want to talk about. What? I'm ordering you to tell me. A trifling blunder would not get someone sent to live with a cursed man in a house spoken of so unfavorably. Whatever she had done at the Bollinger estate, that had to be something to do with why she was here. If she truly hadn't done anything, then she had something to gain from this place, or possibly from me. And if that was the case, I had to get her to talk. Don't make me. Giselle's eyes were wide open. I recognized the look she was giving me. I knew very well what that gaze meant. You're an abomination. It was the same as them. Fear, contempt, revulsion, repulsion. The way she acted, the way she spoke, was exactly the same. You're no different. It's just you're so pretty, okay? I was nervous. It was my first time. And it's cold in here. I made her uncomfortable. I made her afraid. She thought I was unpleasant. She thought I was despicable. She thought I was an abomination. In a frenzy, I grabbed her by the shoulders, bent down far more powerfully than I had meant to. Oh, stop! Her face, contorted in pain, morphed into someone else's. Who was I directing my anger at? Where was this rage being aimed? Who are you calling an abomination? What? Tell me, who? The black fear bubbling up from within me knew no end. The girl, she ridiculed me. She denied my identity with her glare. I couldn't escape from that phantom, that reality. What are you? I never called you a... No, get away from me. Get your hands off me. Possibly? Giselle's scream echoed in the entrance hall, rattling my eardrums. He frantically smacked my arms aside, and then I came back to my senses. She was standing a little ways away, breathing heavily, arms wrapped tight around her body, glowering at me. Showing her opposition to my touching her. Enlightening. No. You just, you startled me, that's all. Some servant you are, telling your master not to touch you? Oh right, I have, you know. I'm allergic to people. It's a very, very unique condition, I hear. I mean, can you believe that? You know how some people get all red and itchy when they touch a dog or cat? It's that, except for people, so... I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I beg your forgiveness. Won't you speak your mind? What? This is what's going through your mind right now. I have nothing to apologize for. And no, that's not... I can somewhat sympathize with your plight. Being made to apologize even though you're hurting. Aki, you're almost up to 10 million. I raised my hand against you first, after all. Can you, forgive me? Sympathy does not equate to forgiveness. The danger. Now, you take care of the package. I'm heading back to my chambers. Package. What is it? You're not going to make me leave after what I just did? That's the fact part, Em. No, I'm not. For it would seem I can make you leave on your own whenever I so please. Besides, I had yet to learn what she had done. It was exceedingly difficult to get the story from her own mouth, which left me only one option: to write a letter to my mother, as much as the very thought revolted me. You save. I'm just gonna keep saving. Seems to be the proper thing to do. Several days had passed since the package arrived. The end of my 3rd week living in the mansion was drawing near. Michael wasn't getting any friendlier either. He continued to either snub or bluntly dismiss me whenever we crossed paths. I understand why he acted that way around me. There was little point in asking when he seemed to think there was little point in talking to me at all. Although at first I had been sure there was some way to get him to warm up to me. The more time I spent in the mansion, the more my willpower began to feel like it was at its breaking point. I could tell myself to stay positive until I was blue in the face, but it would only work for so long. One pretty place in the whole house. I'm glad he hasn't covered it back up. Blue moonlight shone quietly through the stained glass window, vainly illuminating some of the room. I hadn't noticed until now,
I legit almost peed myself there.
but the room with the stained glass window appeared to be modeled after a chapel. Rows of pews faced the window, below which sat what used to be a pulpit. There was very little left of it, though, and an awkward length of silver was mounted on the pulpit's front face. What was, I assume, formerly a cross. On further reflection, rather than facing the window, the pews seemed to be pointing at the pulpit, or perhaps the cross hanging on it. I wasn't sure why there would be a chapel in a mansion, but I had no one to ask about it. For a house of this size, a statue of Christ or the Virgin Mary seems more appropriate. It's a very well-made chapel, at any rate. Judge Michael had had it built for himself. There would be no reason for him to cover the window if that were the case. Nor had I ever seen him come to pray. Doesn't seem like one to believe in God. I'm not even sure if God really existed, then surely the world would be a much more pleasant, peaceful place. No unfair disparities in money or power, no senseless misfortune. I certainly wouldn't have found myself here either. But God was evidently quite fond of giving mankind trials, so he'd probably tell me with a straight face that this was one too. Or perhaps we simply had a false impression of him. He didn't actually give us anything. We merely sat back and watched from somewhere far, far away. It wasn't his job to bring peace to the world or ensure our laws were fair. That was all mankind's responsibility. What is God? What are angels? I have no idea. Maybe the Bible has answers. Why should I pray to someone so far away? How do I know my prayers even getting there? But still, it's not like I have any other option. No, she's allergic to latex. That sucks. Don't you worry. It'll all work out. Promise. I already know where I'm going to work. It's a really prominent noble house, way out of reach of small-time merchants like us. You never know. This could be my big break. Oh, I'm just kidding. Don't look so worried. I'll be just fine, honestly. I'll make enough money for us to get back on our feet. Oh, for goodness sakes, I can handle it. Leave everything to me. Just wait. I'll make our family into something you can be proud of. I'll be fine. Yeah, say bye to Mom for me. Probably won't be home for a while. What? You're afraid I'm going to make some careless mistake? I'm not that airheaded. Maybe you're finding an elegant young lady. Those nobles won't even know what to believe anymore. If you don't believe me, how about I give you a little taste? How are you doing this fine morning, master? Your morning beverage is ready, prepared with the utmost of care. Yeah, how about that? Not bad, huh? What? You really think it sounded forced? I was the daughter of a merchant who ran a shop on the capital's main street. My father had passed away in a plague. It was just me, my mother, and my older sister. It would be a lie to say business was doing well. We struggled to squeak by day to day after taxes. We couldn't just abandon the shop and leave the capital either. We tried to make the best of what we were able to take in between the three of us. And my sister fell in love with a moderately well-off aristocrat. Both my mom and I were supportive of her and her desire to marry. But their union almost fell apart because she was not suitable for him. Merchants were hardly the lowest class. What we lacked instead was wealth. We needed another source of money, beyond what the shop took in. If only we had money, my sister could get married. If only we had money, my mom wouldn't have to work so hard. If only we had money. It was then that someone from the distinguished Bollinger estate approached me. He said they were in need of Abigails and would love to have me. He said if I agreed to work for him, the Bollinger estate would take care of my family. Generally speaking, noble houses took Abigails from other, lower-ranked noble houses. It was unthinkable for someone of my status to receive such an offer, so I took it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance and accepted the offer. I just pray that nothing bad happens to my sister, and that Mom is getting enough money to live comfortably. That's all I can do. They're nobility. They have plenty of money, enough to spare some. Light shining through the stained glass window began to grow murky, fading into blackness. It felt like a message from on high, that no, my prayers would not be answered. The bluish white illumination shining down upon me disappeared as clouds blocked the moon. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me. Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this. Like a really weird story. Your nobility. Plenty of money. Enough to spare some. Oh, come on, you don't even want to look at. We just did. I literally just read this. Giselle was sitting on one of the pews in the room, the stained glass window. Just looking at her, you might have thought she was offering a prayer. The words coming from her mouth were anything but prayerful. They were filled with resentment. So this is what's beneath that facade. Most likely money is what she's after. All I have to do now is confirm my suspicion with her. What awful secrets will I uncover? I gave Giselle, sitting in the pew with her head drooped, a cursory glance before leaving the chapel. And somewhere else to be. The bitterly cold outside air felt like dozens of needles flowing into my lungs. It had been so long since I had stepped beyond the mansion's walls. A thick mist canopied the night sky, blocking out the moonlight. Naturally, the heavens did not rejoice at my leaving the house. It had been 10 years since I had seen the mansion from the outside, and it hadn't changed one bit. A gloomy scar upon the earth, shrouded in darkness. Hardly the kind of place someone would enthusiastically approach. Nevertheless, it was better than that house. Yes? Who is it? Michael. What? Michael Bollinger? Just one moment. I'll be right there. Come in. It's a humble abode, but make yourself at home. I must say this is rather unexpected. Just one word and I would have been up there in a heartbeat. And how was I supposed to do that? I am regrettably fresh out of carrier pigeons. Right, yes. My apologies. This man, living in a small cottage not far from the mansion, had been hired by the Bollinger family. His job? To watch over me. That said, we never actually interacted. He was tasked with keeping track of whether I was still alive and whether I remained in the mansion. The monthly package from my family was delivered to him, which he then passed on to me. It was insipidly convoluted, but it was indicative of how much they wanted to avoid anyone learning about me. Well then, what can I do for you? The manservant was visibly rattled, afraid too, not because of the difference in our social ranks. I had a pretty good idea what he had been told about me. He was afraid of me, or more specifically my curse. People fear that which they cannot comprehend. Not just children, adults as well. They fear demons, witches, and curses, anything impure or not of this world. But I had long since gotten used to being viewed as such. It didn't sadden me, it didn't disappoint me, it didn't pain me. Some things were too foolish to concern yourself over. It certainly doesn't make me feel good, either. I was on some level annoyed. That woman's appearance at the mansion had created ripples in my once tranquil life. So before I got into the real reason for my visit, I decided to take out a bit of my frustration. Raise your head. There's no need to be afraid. I don't know what you've been told, but I promise I don't bite. How rude of me. You're right. My sincerest apologies. Your job is to keep watch over me. If the mere sight of me has you trembling, what will you do if I try to run? I'd have little trouble escaping. That would be quite unfortunate. What would I ever tell your mother? I'm not sure that would end well at all. You could lose everything you've been paid so far. In fact, you might be lucky to get out with your life. Surely your mother would not. You are aware of who you're dealing with, right? Michael, the cursed youngest son of the Bollinger family, who made a pact with the devil. I don't need a blade to take your life. You wouldn't even make it back to report anything. Have mercy, Lord Michael. Please do not leave the mansion. Please, spare me. Only joking. What? I don't have the power to kill by way of curse. The man fell silent, but the look on his face said, You are cursed, though, aren't you? Once someone's got an idea planted in their head, it's not impossible to get rid of it. I'm so cursed anyone can see it, that I need to be locked away in the dark mansion. I'm here because I have a question for you. Not to warn you that I plan to run away. Approximately 3 weeks ago, a black-haired woman came to the mansion. Tell me what you know about her. I was told there would be an Abigail coming, but that's all. I don't know anything else about her. I swear that's all I know. I haven't been told anything else. I believe you. I never thought they would tell you anything. Right. He had been hired to observe me, but that's all he was, a hired hand. He wouldn't be privy to the Bollinger family's internal affairs. Take this. A letter? I need you to deliver it to my mother. You could have just left it in the box from this month's package, and I would have collected it when I dropped off the next one. I am in urgent need of information. Will you do this for me? Yes, why yes, absolutely. I'll fetch a delivery boy tomorrow morning. Much appreciated. Good night. You too. Do take care. Lord Michael? Yes. Is it true you don't have... Would you like me to sew your mouth shut so you can never open it again? No, not at all. My sincerest apologies, Lord Michael. That was horribly disrespectful. Good night. Curse I most certainly am. I want to pipe in like a sailor cap. My mother's response arrived just 10 days later. The delivery boy must have pushed his horse quite hard. It was almost exactly a month after Giselle had moved in. Oh, get bent. No offense.
You, lick me.
And shortly thereafter, on a bone-chilling night, everything came crashing down. The rift between us grew deeper, and the wall between us impossibly high. When I lay bare the scars in her chest, and mercilessly plunged my knife into them. What? Why are we killing her? Alright, but something needs to happen. You guys need to get some fucking fire under your ass. Let me save this. How did we get to this point? Eat everything. My spirits were getting darker and darker, like they were slowly sinking into a deep morass. I had been at the mansion for a month. Every day since felt twice as long as it should have. I had been optimistic at first. I'd even had a little hope that me and Michael could get along together. It hadn't taken long for that hope to be shattered, and the cheer locked away inside me. We lived in the same house, but we never spoke anymore. On the few occasions we did cross paths, he just gave me a cold glare and nothing more, especially since half of it we already read, you know, it's weird. Scorn and suspicion in his eyes. Whenever he looked at me like that, it felt as though my throat was being constricted. Like I was deep underwater and running out of air. Like my very presence in the world was a crime. I never could have imagined just how agonizingly agonizing, constant rejection was. I started despising others. You get used to it. Despising myself. Despising the world. Convinced there was no one who could set me free. Thank you for letting me know. I considered running away from everything, rather than live like this another day. Would I have done so long ago if that was actually an option? If they found out I had fled, that I had acted outside their wishes, my mom and sister would pay. I had succeeded in allowing my sister to get married and my mom to live comfortably. I had given them happiness. I couldn't take that away from them again. Not after what I had to go through to do it. I know, cut that out. Getting way too depressing, Giselle. Pull yourself together. That's not who you are. Be positive. The negativity didn't only come from my interactions with Michael either. Well, there seemed to be some kind of terrible presence within the mansion that had twisted people's hearts. The mansion was, in fact, a bit of a local legend, which I had been informed about being sent here. People claimed it was cursed, and that an evil witch had lived in it for many, many years. Michael joked that he was the witch, but I didn't believe him. I'm not usually one to believe in magic or curses at all, but being here so long, I can't help but wonder. Anyway, things can't go on like this while you're getting up there. You have way too many hours too. What the hell have you been doing, Diabetes? If I was to reign in this house, the situation needed to improve a lot. I was going to lose my mind if things kept up the way as they were. I was ready to give up once. I'm going to try closing the distance between us again. If I could get him to open up even the tiniest bit, then maybe that would make living here a little easier. I wasn't going to try to make us best friends or anything. So repair relationships enough that being around each other wasn't torturous. I've got my work cut out for me. Why even begin that conversation? Heck, what is that conversation even going to be about? The boss fights are once every 5 minutes, Balmung. Maybe I should hold off, do it another day. No. I made up my mind to do this, so I should get to it quickly. The longer I wait, the worse things are going to get. And eventually, there won't be any fixing anything. We need to talk. We need to be in the same room for more than 10 seconds, and we need to get to know each other. He needs to know that he's not the reason I have something to hide. Okay, let's do this. I made my way to Michael's chambers, which he had told me to stay away from. My stride was slow and ponderous, but at the very least I did my best to keep some semblance of a smile on my face. This is the one time where I'd really like to have someone to give me a little nudge. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Pardon, Master? There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Master? I guess he's not here. The door wasn't locked, as was the rest of the house. His room was shrouded in darkness. The only light came from the candle in my hand. Master? Are you there, Master? I guess I missed him. Probably best if I don't stick around for long. He's already got a less than stellar impression of me. I want to imagine what'll happen if he thinks I've been snooping through his room. I should get out of here. I spun around on my heels, taking a step towards the door, when I caught sight of an object draped in a black sheet. I knew I had to get out of there as quickly as possible, but I was intrigued by that object. Then he kept it in a room I was forbidden to enter. Maybe it was a clue to discovering Michael's secret. I reached my hand towards the object, knowing good and well I shouldn't. Was it because I wanted to learn more about him? Was it because I wanted to tear down the veil he hid behind? Or was it the whispers of the witch? What do we have here? I pulled off the sheet, revealing a framed painting of what appeared to be a noblewoman with porcelain white skin. What stood out about her, though, was that the woman's hair was as pale as her skin. And then... What? I noticed something else. Wide gashes ravaged the canvas. The image of her face beyond repair. What the? I imagine it had once been a painting of a beautiful woman, but there was hardly a trace of that left. The only feeling it inspired anymore was a deep chill. This damage was not accidental, it was deliberate, angry, and the contempt emanating from within the frame was stifling. Thick, suffocating blackness seeped into me. Why would anyone? It was surely a most beautiful woman, angelic even. A storm of questions assaulted me. Who was she? Why had her face been carved up? Why had the painting been covered? What had happened? Who could have? There's only one person who could have done this. Michael. Why on earth? You saw it, didn't you? You saw the paint, didn't you? You entered my room without permission and you saw the paint, didn't you? Angelic, you say? There's nothing angelic about that damned woman. I scrambled to make some excuse, but nothing would come out of my mouth. All I could do was tremble. Well, this isn't very nice. Why do you enter my chambers? Mike, what were you looking for? Answer me. My mouth wouldn't move properly. I couldn't make my voice come out. It was like I wasn't even in my body anymore. The wisps of air that were drawn into my lungs were expelled as hoarse gasps. My breaths were shallow and rapid. I was inhaling, but I wasn't getting any air. I was terrified. Terrified. Of his eyes, of his voice, of his feelings, of the knife he was holding up to me. Of the terrible past I was chained to. Man's voice. Man's very flesh terrified me of. What were you trying to find, and what were you planning to do with it? Answer me. Another thing you refuse to tell me then? No, I'm trying. Nothing's coming out of my mouth, though. Everything's so bright, and I can't catch my breath. I can't breathe. That's fine, though. You don't have to tell me. I have a pretty good idea. Idea? What do you mean? Money is what brought you to the Bollinger estate, and it's what brought you to me, too. There are countless people who would love to see that house fall, and a noble family fears nothing more than disrepute. You were, I presume, approached by someone scheming the Bollingers' downfall? No. As it just so happens, the Bollingers have a very unfortunate secret, one they are quite desperate to keep under wraps. Me. Someone suspected I might still be alive, so they sent you to dig up information about me. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed youngest son of the Bollinger family, Michael, who made a pact with the devil, who's supposed to be dead but is very much alive. You sweet-talked your way into that house and into information about me and my present situation. And you meant to trade that information for money. I bet whoever it was put quite a handsome price on it, too. Or maybe the one plotting to ruin the Bollinger family is you. No, that's not true. Then enlighten me. Please, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you harm in any way. Then tell me, if that's not the reason you wormed your way into the Bollinger estate, and that's not what you're doing here, then tell me what is. Tell me why you came to this. You want me to tell you about that? Oh, wait, that's asking way too much. I mean, he's got a knife to your head, lady. I swear I haven't done anything to wrong you. I simply wanted to make out life together a little more comfortable. Bring some warmth to this frigid relationship we have. That's the only reason I wanted to find out more about you. I must assume I'm right then, Giselle. I must tell him he's wrong. I must tell him I mean him no harm. I can't say anything. A merchant's daughter became an Abigail at a noble house? Could you come up with a more obvious lie? Your father's the one who... Wait, how does he know that I'm from a merchant family? You look perplexed. I may be in prison in this house, not free to move about as I please. I have my ways. I know everything. Everything? And he knows about that too. Oh yes, I do know. Don't. In your quest for money, don't say it. You slept with my father. In that moment, Michael punched his knife into my heart. I assume not literal knife. He carved my chest with those words, causing me to completely lose control of myself. In a panicked frenzy, probably screaming all the way, I knocked the man aside and ran and ran and ran. I could hear the clap of thunder in the distance. I wished a bolt of lightning would come crashing down upon me. Maybe if God burned away my tainted flesh with a divine thunderbolt, it would get rid of some of the filth. But the jagged streaks of light cascading across the dark clouds did not strike me, only creating restless grumbles in the sky. Why? I knew that if I fled that mansion, I would likely be causing trouble for my mom and sister, but I was helpless to stop them. All I could do was run from all that threatened me with no regard for the consequences. Before long, small droplets of rain began falling, which soon grew heavy enough to penetrate the forest canopy and reach the ground where I stood. The downpour drowned out my tears and my cries. I had rushed from the mansion without even putting on a cloak. Each cold winter droplet stung bitterly against my flesh. But the bite of the rain was like a warm embrace compared to what I had been through before. Michael had spoken the truth. As much as I wanted to deny it to avert my eyes, reality was forever engraved in this body. I don't want to think about it. I had no say in the matter. Get out of my head.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a beautiful dancing girl, star of the stage.
I mean, if you want to make it big in the business, sweetie. Come over here, Giselle. Oh. Chair. What? Okay. May I ask you what? May I ask why you asked me here so late at night, Master? Oh, I just wanted to have a little chat. Care for some wine? Come closer, and I'll pour you a glass. I had this wine imported from up north. Use very hard water, and I like it rather tart, so it leaves quite the lasting impression on your tongue. And yet it goes down so easily. You just can't stop. What do you say? Have a sip. Or does your expertise as a trader allow you to evaluate a wine's quality without tasting it? No, but, please yourself, don't trample over my good graces. Very well then, I'll have a sip, Master, but no more. Have you ever considered growing out your hair? Having long hair made it difficult to do my job. You're not a merchant anymore, though. You deserve to look like a woman you truly are. I have no doubt longer hair would accentuate your natural beauty. It's a gorgeous shade of black, so deep a man could get lost in it for years. It would contrast the color of your skin fabulously. Highlight your eyes, your cheekbones, your nape, your shoulders, and your chest. I should get going. Oh, but we're not done talking yet. I would not want a lack of sleep to interfere with my ability to work tomorrow. Thank you very much for the wine. It was delish. I want to be so cold-hearted now. From when I first laid eyes on you. Master? That's enough fooling around for one night. Now, don't be afraid. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. I simply want to express my love. Let go of me. I only came here to work, nothing more. The first time I saw you, I thought it would be a tragic waste to leave you to wither away working at some little street-side shop. You can't tell me you didn't know a merchant girl had no place in a house like this, even as a servant. There's only one reason you would be allowed here. I swear, it never even crossed my mind. It would seem you're even more innocent than you look. You figured it all out by now, haven't you? No, let go of me. Stop this. Voice down. Do not shout, Giselle. If anyone were to find out about this, you would be the one shouldering the consequence, not me. But you're a maid. I'm the master of the house. Whose word do you think holds more weight? Don't worry, I won't do anything to hurt you. I promise your family will be exceptionally well taken care of. Your mother will have the comfortable life you wanted for her. But you know what will happen if you raise a fuss and make a fool of yourself. Not only will your family not get any of our money, and not only will your sister not get to marry, you'll all spend the rest of your lives on the streets. How could you be so cruel? This is blackmail. Blackmail? For a merchant's daughter, you don't know much about trade, do you? Let me give you a little lesson about market value. The goods you're after, Giselle, are not cheap. Understand? Let me see that beautiful body of yours. Rawhide Wolf? Is this Wolf Wolf? What's going on? He came in it perfectly at a rape scene. Yay! He was an older man.
Just ignorant.
I hadn't expected him to be very strong, but I couldn't break free of his grip, and I found myself entirely at his mercy. Beneath the gaudy outfits lay a hungry beast, and I was seeing the creature's true colors for the first time that day. The aging man ran his disgusting, slobbering tongue across my exposed skin. Everything he placed his hands upon withered away. Every piece of flesh he pressed his lips against putrefied, rotted, decayed, rankled. Rankled a word? I trembled in revulsion, at which the man laughed, seemingly interpreted as something else. I wonder what kind of place hell was. I think it reminds me of my stepdad. I don't think I'm that old. I assume he's probably older than you? If hell's wardens only flayed and carved their prisoners, I would have preferred that instead. It's a coloring putty. I tried to dye my hair and it didn't turn out. It was, what's it called? My hair is just too healthy? I didn't bleach it beforehand. Yeah, like hair wax. It's actually kind of hard. I would have rather been sliced into tiny little chunks and cast into the hellfire. I would have chosen eternal torment over being touched by this man another second. But I didn't get to choose my hell. Eventually, the man forced open the gates I had been holding fast, and spread his festering death inside of me. Listen to me, Giselle. It is in both of our interests to keep this between the two of us. If you can do that, I'll continue to do good by you and your family. But don't look at me like that, please. I'm thrilled to have you here in this house, Giselle. He has long since lost her mind, after all. It's torture just being in the same room. And my sons, they hardly ever come home. But you, Giselle, you give color to my dull life. You make it exciting once again. Now go back to your room. I'll be waiting here at the same time next week. I couldn't escape from that man's grasp, not when he used my family against me. Some weeks, I would just not go to his chambers, my one feeble means of resistance. When I did that, he would send another Abigail to come find me the next day. I couldn't ignore his summons when he got other people involved. And then, when the two of us were alone, the mask would come off, and he would discipline me for not showing up before taking care of his usual business. On good days, he would leave bruises in inconspicuous places. My abdomen, my inner thighs. Your thing is way too loud.
Get ready to greet another beautiful day!
But he went as far as carving a word into my skin with a knife. Harlot. That was why I was afraid of knives. That was why I was afraid of men shouting. Wasn't even sure what to regret anymore. I was in far too deep. There was no turning back the clock. I even considered taking my own life on more than one occasion. But every time the thought crossed my mind, happy memories came with it. Like when it was just the three of us girls in the shop. Life may not have been easy, but it was never dull either. I didn't want to end my life at its absolute lowest point. I wanted, if just temporary, to go back to the way things were back then. That objective was the only thing that allowed me to keep going. When I was in his presence, I tried to convince myself it was merely an object. I had no emotion, so he couldn't hurt me. It was merely a vessel, a construct of flesh and bones. His hands couldn't reach my heart. It was not connected to my body. Doing that made it a little easier to bear, but the reality was, it was impossible to completely sever my heart from my body. You're Giselle, aren't you? Oh, you're not going to be happy with me, are you, Liddy? Would I? One day, the mistress of the estate stopped me in the halls. She had supposedly once been quite beautiful, but now she was only haggard and bony. Her skin dry, her eyes sunken, her hair faded and stripped of its luster, her head down, her cracked lips barely moving as she spoke. Age didn't appear to be the only thing working its merciless magic on her either. There seemed to be something eating away at her from the inside too, something that could burst at the lightest touch. Yes, I'm Giselle. Is there something I can do for you? The mistress rarely ever left her chambers. I had been told it had been years since she attended family supper. So what would bring her to come looking for someone like me? What? I wasn't sure I wanted to know the answer. You're having relations with my husband, aren't you? You are, aren't you? Madam. You wretched creature. He was telling me the truth. One of my trusty maids caught a glimpse of you through a crack in the door. She saw you with him, you filthy rat. You seduced my husband. You devil, you conniving witch. You don't get it, do you? You don't realize how grievous your sin is, do you? Someone, anyone, restrain this girl. She's a demon, a devil. Tie her up and hand her over to the clergy. That won't be enough. A witch, you have to burn her bones, scatter the ashes, or she'll just come back to life. Yes, execute her, kill this woman, burn the witch, seize the piece she's stolen from me. Okay? Cursed. It's cursed. This house is cursed. Not only has it taken away my daughter, now it's trying to take away my husband. God, please shine thy cleansing light upon this house. I knew it would be a waste of breath trying to talk to her. She was not of sound mind. There was madness in her eyes. I even have to make a fuss about it. It happened all on its own. If there was no way around it, then I should have just done it myself after the first time. Potentially? I didn't have the energy to argue with her, or to cry, or to shout. For long, a crowd began to form around me and the sobbing mistress, and in it stood him. I assumed he would just stand back and watch, but much to my surprise he stepped in, with an embarrassed look on his face, to try to settle his wife down and convince her not to have me executed. Maybe he did have a heart after all, or maybe he just wanted to save face. Regardless, instead of being burned at the stake, it was decided that I would be sent away to some remote forest. One of the previous Bollinger family heads had purchased a mansion there long before, but it had almost been abandoned because of the stories people told about it. They say a cursed witch dwelled in the house. She had returned to life after being executed, and now skulked about in the darkness. It was the perfect place to banish a sinner. And so, accused of adultery, I was on a carriage on my way out to the capital the next day. I hope my mom and sister are alright. The two of them will believe in me, even if no one else does. The wooden wheels turned, carrying me away to that cursed mansion. There's a silent coachman and a single sullied passenger. Looking out through the window, I could see the city walls slowly fade into the distance between us. I doubted I would ever set foot in this land again, ever to cross the Grand Pont again. It was a saddening reality. At the same time, I felt a surge of relief. I had finally escaped from that house. I had finally escaped from that man. The sense of freedom slightly lessened the weight of everything else I was feeling. A good while after we left the capital, the coachman handed me a letter. On the sheet of parchment was a rather startling revelation. There was someone else already living at the house where I was to reside. The Bollinger's youngest child. But the letter didn't say why he had been sent to the cursed mansion, only that he was there. Beyond that, the letter only made a single request. That I look after him and not ask any questions. All she's been doing is asking questions. So I'm not just being sent off to the middle of nowhere. I still have work to do. If I look after whoever's at the mansion, and they'll do the same for my family? I don't have much say in the matter either way, I suppose. The carriage rattled and shook as it traversed the stony path, and bouncing around inside it, I resolved to take back my life. The peace I had once known.
Shoot the old lady with a paralysis dart.
The cheerfulness I had lost. And to do so, I would forget, lock away my memories, bury every terrible thing that had happened to me. Cast aside those memories and find my smile once more. I have no idea who I'm going to find there, but they couldn't possibly do anything worse to me. I'll greet them with a smile and do my best to build up a decent relationship with them. I figured since the both of us had been banished to the same cursed mansion, there would probably be other things we had in common. Yeah, that one worked. Who else? Em was doing pretty well with hers. And so, I would forget it all. And get my life back. Get my smile back. All the JoJo ones. And that was everything that led up to me arriving at the mansion. All the wounds I never wanted to open again. I didn't want to think about that. I've been trying so hard to forget about it. I wanted to forget all about it. So why? Why did you have to make me remember? All I did was believe. Believe that we could make things work. Could you? Can't take it anymore. Once the memories had broken free, they flooded back with perfect clarity. Exactly how he ran his hands across me. Exactly where he hit me, where he cut me. Like I was going through it again this very moment. The rain was cooling me down on the outside, but so much nausea and heat had built up in my gut. I vomited all over the ground. I threw up and I threw up and I threw up until there was nothing left but bile. When there was nothing left to expel, the strength evacuated from my knees and I collapsed. I don't know if everything was blurry because of the rain or because my eyes had decided they were done looking at anything. The whole world twisted before me. Michael's no different. My attempts to get close to him, always keep a smile on, was all a waste. The look in his eyes was terrifying, like he didn't believe in anything at all. Though he probably wouldn't have believed me if I had told him the truth. If he's convinced I have an ulterior motive, there's probably no changing his mind. The cold rain. If I lie down here and go to sleep, I wonder if all the warmth will eventually drain from my body. Then I'll decompose and become part of the earth. You know, that might actually be nice. I'd like that. I always thought I didn't want to die. I wanted to go back to the way things were, but who cares anyway, would it say? But who cares anymore? I did my best after all, and that still got me nowhere. Fearful Giselle was all just a farce, and when I'm dead, all my worry for my mother and sister will fade away with me. Oh God, I doubt you have a place for me on high. I am, after all, an unclean woman. I've given up on living altogether, but even if I can't get into heaven, that's okay. I want release. The rain pitter-pattered down through the leaves overhead, chilling my skin. The cold spread through my flesh and into my bones, my heart and lungs and stomach, freezing me like a block of ice. My consciousness drifted away from me, and the world slipped through my fingers. More than fear, I felt relief. Utter black, and that, I was sure, was the end of me. Alright, let me see that boy once more. I am, even now, putting her through a harrowing experience. Picking up the memories she locked away, the past she wanted to pretend never happened, and laying it all out before her once more. I must get her back to where she once was, even if it means forcing her to endure this. She must remember everything, because I need to know. Why did she become the maid? And what secrets does this house hold? You are... Michael. Yes, my name is Michael. I'm not the white-haired girl. The person you were searching for was the man who once hurt you deeply. Me. Why? What was her why referring to? Why I hurt her? Or why I'm here? Or perhaps, why I didn't show up until now? I have an answer for her. I clenched her cold hands in mine. I wonder, were her hands this cold that night too? There's still more we need to see, though, and it's still too soon for me to apologize. When she's gotten everything back, only then can I. When she's reclaimed herself, this is what I must tell her. Now let us return to our past. Our past has only just begun. No matter what we thought or what we desired, no matter what we lost or how much pain we suffered, we must not shut this door. Perfect darkness embraces us once more. I can see nothing, not even the woman beside me. But I shall not let go of her hand. I do not want her to slip away from me. I do not want to lose her. Alright, let me save this bad boy and grab myself something to drink. I will be back in a moment.
Dad.
Let me touch it. And that's why she has 64 in it.
Okay, next time we paralyze the horse.
Aw, yeah. Pause that. Let's get back into this. And they went back to use the Corgi and oh god. No live action movies ever good. But who knows? I wouldn't. We're 56 minutes, buddy. 5-6. Almost like an hour. Stay with me. Are you alright? Oh, thank goodness, you're awake. How's your head? Can you see me? What? You got me scared silly there. I thought I might have lost you for good. I'm really glad you're alive. Where am I? And who is this man? What was I doing? You feeling up for any food? I can whip up some porridge for you right quick. I was in the forest, it was raining. Maybe marks in my glasses. Before that I was at the mansion. 1 second, sorry. Nothing better reading than having a giant schmudge. Perfect. Before that, I was at the mansion. I feel sick, like there's still something in my stomach. No, thank you. I don't want anything. You really should have something. You need to keep up your energy. Unless you want to conk out again in an hour. Sounds good to me. I'd rather never wake up at all. You're not the highest of spirits either, it seems. All the more reason to get something warm in you. Please, have something. I've got some milk on the fire. Bet you can handle a cup of that. You start losing all hope once the cold gets that deep in you. It reaches down to your core. Take me at my word, please. Just one sip. You'll feel like a whole new gal. What's this? A heart-wrenchingly pleasant aroma wafted up with the steam from within the wooden cup. Succumbing to the sweet smell, I lifted the cup to my lips just for one sip. The warmth that spread through me brought tears to my eyes. Perhaps there really was kindness in the world. A ripple spread across the surface of the milk. I heard a gentle sigh come from the man beside me. After which he said with a smile, "You should take it easy for the day." I had lost the willpower to think about anything. I didn't care about what happened to me or why I was here, who he was, or even where this was. I spent the whole day in bed, just watching the sun slowly slide across the wooden floor. It felt like I was somewhere far, far away. Tons of force. At times, I felt like a lost child, and at times like a sickly old woman on her deathbed. Watching the sun travel gave me a renewed awareness of the passage of time, and the fact that each moment that went by was another moment I was alive. I realized then that it had been a while since I had gotten more than a brief glimpse at any sunlight. I usually try to do all the bosses, else like 1111 or something like that, so it breaks down nicely. It almost surprised me how colorful the world seemed beneath the sun's light, something I didn't get much of in the Dark Mansion. Only after losing something do you realize how much you need it. Warm milk and the light shining through a window, and a bed that smelled like springtime. Those three things my heart slowly began to defrost. I started to regain the willpower to stand on my own 2 feet. Thank you for everything. You sure you're in any shape to be on your feet? Yes, I'm fine. I'm not hurt. You look pretty beat up to me. But you look a lot better now, and you're talking a lot more clearly than before. You've been very generous despite having never met me before, and for that you have my deepest gratitude. Without your help, I would no longer be in this world. I don't deserve your thanks. You are alive now because God's guidance made it so. God? I came across you early this morning as I was heading into the forest to hunt. Imagine my surprise seeing a young lady like you on the ground in my path. What were you doing in the forest? You don't have to tell me if you'd rather not. Everyone's got their own share of personal problems. You aren't going to demand I talk? I have no reason to force you to do anything. You look like you've been to hell and back. Tell just looking at you. Oh then, you have somewhere you can go? Where to go? Of course I don't. I can't go back to the capital or the mansion. I'm glad you got those. You're gonna get banned if it was another false. If not, then why don't you stay here? Here? Sure, it's a small village. We're self-sufficient, and we all help each other out. No tax-hungry lords know we built the place up either, so we can keep everything we make. We're pretty remote as a result, and the harvest isn't fantastic, but I'm sure you'll find it comfortable here. The rest of the villagers will be glad to have you. I want more milk. What do you say? Sorry, Mom. What I'm about to do might make the rest of the family's lives more difficult, but I don't want to have to feel pain anymore. I really wouldn't be inconveniencing you. If it's really okay, then yes. I'd like to stay here. It's great to hear. I was loath to send you back out there in your current condition. I haven't introduced myself yet, have I? The name's Amadea? The name's Amy. Just one lowly villager of many. I'm Giselle. Giselle, that's a beautiful name. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a vacant house. Clean up and you can call it home. I couldn't possibly ask for that. I thought others would like if I just took a house for myself. That shouldn't be an issue. I'm the villager's representative, more or less. Like the chief? Only in name, though. As mentioned, we're not on any ward's map, so I don't have much representing to do. The only reason I ended up in charge is because I'm a bit more educated than anyone else. It was a long time ago, but I understudied with a priest. Because of that, I'm familiar with the Bible's teachings. But rather than a chief, the people of the village look to me more like a priest. It wouldn't be much fun if the church found out about that. They're liable to think I'm acting unordained. Then you believe in God? That's quite the question. Of course God exists, always watching over us. But you survived because he protected you. I understand that your faith can waver when you're going through times of tribulation, but those are times when it's most important you keep sight of who you are. Right. Now you get some rest. Tomorrow, I'll show you around the village. Thank you. I truly mean it. I really sincerely appreciate everything. Don't mention it, Giselle. This is your village now too, so you don't need to act like a stranger anymore. Okay. So he's Amy. Seems like a nice man. Maybe here I can live in peace. It'll be alright, I'm sure. Yeah. I wasn't silly enough to believe my life would be perfect, but I had found a tiny fragment of my lost hope. While I had once been ready to give up on absolutely everything, I was starting to feel like I might be able to smile again, eventually, like I might be able to get back on my feet. In order to do that, I had to cast aside my past once more. Everything that had happened at the Bollinger estate and everything that had happened at the mansion. Forget about Michael. There was one niggling curiosity, though, that I couldn't shake, something he had said before I left. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed youngest son of the Bollinger family, Michael, had made a pact with the devil, who was supposed to be dead, was very much alive. What did he meant by that? Why would people think he was dead? No, I don't care about Michael one bit. Forget it. Forget everything. The house was, as it always been, wrapped in thick silence. Giselle's shadow, which had been lurking in the halls for about a month, was nowhere to be found. She hadn't come back since running off that day. The secret was still safe. Her efforts had, in the end, all been for naught. Back to the way things were.
Oh shit, I got you good, you fucker.
But despite my mind telling me that it was for the best, I felt a kind of guilt seething in the back of my chest. And any attempts to figure out why only made me feel worse. The look on her face then. Please, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring harm to anyway. Or harm in any way. Was that really her just putting on an act because I revealed her scheming? It was scheming, though, and she looked genuinely terrified when he knocked my hand away. I'm not falling for anything. I feel like I know that frenzied panic. It doesn't add up. Maybe she's afraid of knives. Oh. Quiet. Silence, please. My head was pounding beyond belief. I couldn't stand anything. This world, the creature I was, the witches whispering. Archangel looking down upon me seemed to be cackling from somewhere far out of reach. Though for whatever it was worth, to escape from his gaze. I once again drew the drapes over the stained glass window. I am so happy the first couple streams of this was fun, because this is boring as shit. For me, not for you guys. Like, oh, it's someone new. Hey, where are you from? You gonna be here long? Are you? We hardly ever get visitors here, so they're downright awestruck by you. You'll be getting a lot of attention for a little, but please don't let it get to you. No, that's just fine. I'll do my best to get along with everyone. You've got a spark in you that wasn't there yesterday. Anything in particular that cheered you up? In particular, once I decided I was going to stay here, I just sort of started feeling better about things. Did you see any of the first stuff? Therapy? And I figured I couldn't stay gloomy forever. I see. Glad to hear it. It's all thanks to you, Amy. Keep thanking me like that and my cheeks might get stuck red. Because I've already done about 70% of this. Multiple times now. In any event, I said I'd show you around yesterday, so how about we do that? Lead the way. That said, we're a modest little village of about 100. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows everyone. For ad size, it looks pretty big to me. Amy taking the lead, we walk through the village, passing by crop fields and milk cows, originally shared among the villagers. Houses were scattered across an area that seemed far too large for only 100 people. Actually, getting a better look at them, the buildings were dilapidated, looking more like ruins than residents. Once upon a time, this was a city rather than a large village. And Twitch happily again. When your ancestors lived here? Oh no, we were drifters, fortunate enough to come across some decent looking land, so we stuck around. So you're still happy with your computer? How do you know what it was like before then? There's a few stone tablets left behind, and based on what we were able to extract from their texts, this area used to be a large city with a booming economy rivaling that of the capital. I'd agree with you, Ghost. I'm confused. There weren't hundreds, but thousands of people bustling about. Urchins from afar came in droves. It was much like how the capital is now. Actually, this area was more open to foreigners. People of all different races, speaking as many different languages. You're hiding a dirty secret from me now. It was evidently quite the sight and sound. I had no idea there was a city here. What happens when a place is wiped from history? I couldn't tell you how reliable the tablets are. But if you take them at their word, this city lost everything in just a single week. You started playing Final Fantasy XIV? Ugh. What? People, crops, livestock, all dead. Maybe it was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague. I can't say for sure. This is what the tablets said, though. We have been cursed by the witch. Look over there, you see that river? There used to be a magnificent bridge crossing it, but there's hardly anything left of it. The witch's curse took the bridge. If you continue along the path beyond the fallen bridge, there's a forest. That's where I found you. The deeper parts of the forest are so dense you can't see anything but tree trunks and leaves. It's an eerie place wrapped in a cloud of darkness. If you make it through that, there's a mansion, which is said to be cursed. The witch who supposedly destroyed this city lives in the house deep in the forest. She's been there for years and years and years, and she casts her curse on anyone who get near it. The city was so large that the mansion was actually in its borders. My guess is the bridge was built to mark the road leading to it. How was Twilight Princess? Is that the one when you could start doing dual hook shots? Because I remember my brother really liking one of them. Or maybe he really liked the Wind Waker one, minus the boats. I don't remember. I don't really play the Zelda games. Now, as you can see, the bridge is gone and the houses still standing are practically in ruins. But the mansion alone looks just as it did back then. The witch living in the mansion goes by the name Morgana. Time to go to bed, Ghost. According to the records, someone by the same name was executed in the area for witchcraft, and even in death she continues to bear her grudge against mankind. Who knows how much of it is true, though? Truth or fiction, the story has taken root in this region. It's been a long day, you're tired, it's time for bed. Water your plant. The city's history may be lost, but the legend of the witch continues to be told. People have a tendency to keep stories alive that scare them. I never even got an answer from you. Did you ever play the Fire Emblem stuff?
Sandwich me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. No, I'm fine. You're best staying away from the mansion and the forest at any rate. There's no saying what might happen if curiosity gets the better of you. Better safe than sorry, if you ask me. Aside from the mansion, this is as peaceful a village as you'll find. Because that was what I linked to. It's like called Tokyo Mirage, I think? It was like Fire Emblem and the older Persona, well, Shin Megami Tensei games, made a baby. But I'm glad you didn't end up wandering up there. I know all about the mansion and who lives there. I was there after all. You saw that. Well, thanks for the response, buddy. With Michael for a full month. I don't remember any cursed witch. Just a man with a bone-chilling glare. Maybe the rumors about a witch living there was spread by him. Or perhaps even his family. I could see him doing that. But none of that matters to me anymore. I'm never going anywhere near that house again. The witch's curse, Michael, they're nothing to me. With nowhere else to go, I ended up in the small village. There was no denying that there was very little to speak of here. But I found peace in that nothingness. I couldn't have been more blessed that such a kind man had found me and welcomed me into his home. The village ran entirely on its own crops and livestock. They had no currency, merely bartered among themselves. Coming from a merchant's family, everything felt so new. I had never plowed a large plot of land, milked a cow, or used a loom before. At first I wasn't sure what to think, being such a departure from my lifestyle in the capital, but over time I grew more comfortable with my new life, and the people of the village started thinking of me as one of them. Have you done any of the Fire Emblem games? I know you've played one or two SMT games. Come on, Giselle, come play with us. Play hide and seek today. Can't, sorry, I'm spinning yarn. You can do that later. I'm not a big Fire Emblem fan. Like, I love the strategy role-playing game like genre as a whole, and the Fire Emblem games are not my cup of tea for whatever reason. Come on, play with us. Although I will say Three Houses, the one I just played, was very fun. It was a lot less, I gotta say, like, I don't know if it's just because I'm an old dude now, but like the dating simulator aspects of games is usually kind of creepy to me. It's not quite as fun. Stop that. Don't pull on my skirt. And like the Fire Emblem series, a couple of them before there, you weren't even just dating, you were literally breeding your next generation of warriors, which might be realistic, but alright, you win. When I'm done with this, I'll join you. And no ditching. We'll be down at the square, okay? Got it. See you there. Kids have taken quite a liking to you. Amy. You think so? Three Houses one was a ton of fun. I couldn't tell you anything about the story. Just it was a nice journey. They've been incredibly lively since you arrived. Children are more sensitive than adults. Sensitive? They're very perceptive of how others are feeling. If you begrudgingly play along, they'll pick up on that quickly. You like children, and that's a wonderful thing. There's not a good woman in the world who dislikes children. Why, thank you. I don't think it's so much that I like them, as I'm kind of like a big kid myself. I generally enjoy hide and seek. That's not going to earn me any points. I like kids too. Watching them, it gives me faith that this world has a bright future. Bright future. I never looked at them that way. The Fire Emblem games, I Vandal Hearts was kind of similar in that with the whole, you know, the triangle. But I like Vandal Hearts a lot more than any of the Fire Emblem games I've played. They seem to like you quite a bit, too, Amy. Thanks. But I'd rather give my affection to my own kids. Oh, you have children? Oh, heavens no. I thought that was obvious enough. I'm talking about the future. See, but knowing you, Amy, I'm sure you'll find someone right for you and have kids of your own in no time. It's not that easy, sadly. Even in such a small village, there are no ladies who would take interest in me. I did grab that game Trance. I went on a Switch binge to grab a bunch of them. That's one of the ones I brought because I like the characters from Fire Emblem are always nicely done. And it looked kind of like Persona 4 battle system. And no harsh schedule. I'm like, that's kind of cool. You don't give yourself enough credit. Plus, it's on the Switch. I need more Switch things. I'm fully confident you'll find someone soon enough. You really think so? Absolutely. And perhaps you could be that person. What? Pardon? I won't pressure you into it, of course. But I think it would be marvelous to have you in my life in a bigger way. But it's a little soon for me to think about settling down like that. Well, I never played Bayonetta, so I grabbed 1 and 2. I grabbed Castlevania since it was ported over to the Switch for the Aria of Sorrow. Let's see. I grabbed... Hold on. Do I still have my list somewhere? I grabbed the Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4, but I have to beat 2, which that'll take a bit of time. For RPGs I just recently beat on that, I did definitely enjoy the Xenoblade Chronicles 2, although the story was definitely weak compared to the first Chronicles. And the gacha system was weird. A little bit. It was still fun. Like, the combat was very fun and exploration, all that shit I like. So, it reminds... Again, those games kind of remind me how Final Fantasy XII is played out. So I like that stuff. Where it's almost like you control your own party, sort of MMO style. Which it isn't, but, you know. But that was definitely a fun one. I would recommend that. The first two, both Xenoblade Chronicles are very good. Yeah, I just didn't like that. Three Houses has an affection system, but it's not, you're not plowing your students. So that's nice. And it's more like you're a super teacher, you know? It's a little soon for me to think about settling down like that. It is pretty sudden, I admit. Take all your time you need to consider it. Alright. I have to go play with the kids now. Have fun. I wonder if he really meant it. Amy is a nice fellow. And I'm sure living here would be wonderful. But I can't help feeling something isn't right there. Right here. What's the other game I described? I just really loaded it up. I'm just gonna go grab my goddamn... Hold on. Hold. Where are you? Got you. Oh, I grabbed Astral Chain, Tales of Vesperia, Tokyo Mirage, Netta, Ace Attorney, Bravely Default 2, Super Mario Odyssey, Valkyrie Chronicles 4. Pretty sure I shouted that loud enough. Oh. That's all I could fit on my little... Why am I thinking about him now of all times? And I also did Ys 8. That man has no redeemable qualities. Not one. As it turned out, Amy was serious about his proposition. And he brought up every time we ran into each other. Unable to give him an answer, I found myself constantly apologizing to him. Soon, winter started giving way to spring. On a day when the air still had a brisk winter bite and budding seedlings battled to break through the earth, the seams holding the village together began to come loose. That day, the village men were gathered in the square talking. Hero Default's a funny one. That's like one of the few games I've played to a certain part, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I was still happy with the game, but I'm done. When the twist kept happening. They all had stern looks on their faces. I have no idea what the hell that game was thinking. It was clear that something had happened. I obviously couldn't stick my head in, so I waited until they were done and caught Amy. Well, I could smash people with double shields. That was kind of fun. While it was rather awkward, I was still more comfortable asking him for information than anyone else. Actually, with a dejected look on his face, he started explaining. A ward found out about this village. What? And he said he's going to place this land under his rule, meaning he'll start collecting taxes. In addition, he's demanded we pay 5 years' worth of back tax for our unauthorized use of the land. What? That's ridiculous. Yes, it most certainly is. We obviously don't have any means to pay 5 years of taxes. There's no reason for him to take over this village at all. We're completely isolated from the surrounding area after all. But if we resist, he could send soldiers. It doesn't matter how absurd his claim is to the village. We have no choice but to comply. That's terrible. What are we going to do then? We're going to do as the ward demands. The 5 years' taxes will have to be paid in installments. Some of the men suggested we abandon the land and find somewhere else. But it would take time to cultivate the land and plant new crops. It's no trivial task. We'll just have to make do with these changes. If you get bored, Trance, I have the review of the Tokyo, whatever the hell it is, over in the videos. Like, that might be a game you might like. We use more of the land to grow and try to be more efficient. Will you help in the fields? Of course. This village is my home now, too. Thank you, Giselle. It'll be difficult, but if we all pitch in, I'm sure we can get through this. Not the same thing. If we all work together, we could make it through this rough patch. But the collection of taxes brought more than just a burden for everyone to share. It brought the emotional strain and conflict to the village, too. Your family has more hands to work the fields. I have a sickly child. You expect him to work any harder than he is? I know you're hiding grain in your cellar. You have more than us. Let us keep a little grain. You have more. No, you have more. You both have more than us. When their comfortable lives fell under attack, the villagers' top priority became their own property. The cooperation was only temporary, and before long everyone became a threat. The negative energy only built on itself, its growth accelerating like a boulder rolling down a hill. And it wasn't long before their sights fell on me, the outsider. Come on now, get moving. Ow, stop that. Why are you doing this? I'll stop once you told us everything. Told you every what? One morning, a man dragged me from my house and took me to the square. There, the entire rest of the village was gathered, all eyes on me. What? What's this about? Oh, don't play stupid. We all know it was you. What was me? The thief. Amy? From the crowd appeared someone I knew quite well. The ever-affable village representative, the man who had saved my life. But in his eyes now, I thought you were better than that. With contempt, anger, scorn, so many different shades of negativity. I recognized what I saw in his glare immediately, as someone who had been subjected to those looks before. But why? For what reason was he looking at me like that? I couldn't make sense of what was happening. I just stood there, stupefied. There's been a rise in reports of people having things stolen lately. This village is too small to attract bandits, though, since the Lord now demands we pay him taxes. Even the smallest item lost can have a dramatic impact on the family's living conditions. All you've done is no joke. Wait just a second. I haven't stolen anything. Why do you think You've been seen in the act. What? As long as there is testimony against you, your guilt is assured. Who says they saw me? I swear I didn't do anything. They're obviously lying. You're the one who's lying. You've been playing us for fools this whole time. Everything was fine until you showed up. We managed not to get found out until you showed up. No, that's not my fault. Giselle, apologize to the village and return what you've taken. Amy, don't you believe me? There were multiple witnesses. Several different people saw you stealing. I've known these people long enough to be family, and I trust them like family too. They are not liars. But no, they're framing me. I didn't steal anything, I swear. Framing you? Now you want to put it on us, woman? Unbelievable. Have you forgotten we welcomed you into our village? Amy, please believe me. You of all people should believe me. You've been avoiding me of late, haven't you? What? Because you had something to hide, correct? No, What other reason could you have to avoid me? But why? How can you say these things? Why won't he believe me? Now return the things you've stolen. I can't. I never stole anything. How am I supposed to return something I don't have? I see. So you've already moved the stolen goods. She said she doesn't have them anymore, folks. How should we deal with this? Rough her up until she talks. Yeah, she's not getting off that easily. Give us back our property. Why is this happening to me? The harsh new rulership has driven these people mad. You need to get away from this village and quick. Restrain her. No, get your hands off me. Have you forgotten everything we've done for you? All that matters is that you don't have to suffer. Is that it? I didn't do anything. Take her to my house. We'll make her tell us everything. No, stop. You've all gone mad. Please, come to your senses. We've got trips. You. Thank you from, With men on all four sides of me, I was dragged into Amy's house. He sat coolly in a chair, and they shoved me to my knees before him. I'll ask you one more time, Giselle. Where did you put the things you stole? And I'll keep giving you the same answer. I didn't take anything from anyone. Please believe me. Do you swear with God as your witness? I do. I swear with all of my heart. Actually, no scope 360? Thanks for the follow. You don't actually believe her, do you, Amy? She not only sold us out to a lord, she's now threatening to make our lives downright impossible. Again, that's just a coincidence. Listen to me, Amy. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the woman hath committed 3 sins. She has lied, she has stolen, and she betrayed her fellow man. Why are you doing this, Amy? You were such a good man. I'm deeply disappointed in you, Giselle. As much as I don't want to do this, I have to get the truth from you. Amy. Oh, of course, why didn't I see it? I'm still just an outsider to them. Why would he believe a stranger's words over the word of the village, his family? The water. What? A man set a wooden well bucket on the floor in front of me. It wasn't clean water from the well, though, but grimy, murky wastewater. I reflexively turned my head from the stand. But a man behind me grabbed my hair, and before I had a chance to realize what was happening, the world around me went brown? Got waterboarded? Oh, this is a great time for everyone to show up for this. What's going on, Darth? What are the odds your command just got called too? Welcome, Raiders. I'm Kenner OEG. Currently reading The House in Fata Morgana, which I usually just do RPGs, but this is a spooky, sad, creepy Halloween story. So, thanks for the shout out in the defense. What was the rest of your stream? I struggled with all my might to break free, but my arms were tied behind my back, and I didn't have the strength to overpower the man holding my head down. Reflexive gas in my air, a stream of filthy water poured into my mouth. Pull her out. We get nothing if she dies. Well, thanks. Put her back in. And keep it up until she decides she's ready to talk. Oh. What were you playing? How unsightly. And I think I ever considered marrying this woman. So we can stop whenever you want, Giselle. You just have to tell us the truth. Please. I was given no time to rest. My head shoved into the bucket, then pulled out just long enough for me to steal a breath before going back in. Over and over again. How was Guardians? I know yesterday I talked to you, well, last night. And you said you're enjoying it, but still pretty damn cool. Echo the Dolphin? The Dolphin sucks. Wait, is that Echo? How do you spell Echo the Dolphin? Not a person in that room objected to the abuse I was receiving. I had prayed for a good harvest with these people. They taught me how to use a loom, something I had never touched before. We had laughed together, lived together. They were normal people. Perfect, ordinary, kind, helpful, friendly people. Not all cruel or inhumane, but now they burned with a frenzy that overshadowed all my memories of them. And every gargle, gasp, and grunt they got from me fueled that fire. Dozens of eyes laced with madness stared down upon me, rejoicing at my suffering. Wolf, is this another wolf? I guess it has a streamer mode? Oh, my consciousness was slipping away from me. I thought I could hear her laughing. I thought I could hear laughing and chattering. But it all passed through my ears as mere noise, nothing I could make sense of. Stay with me. Amy? Oh, thank goodness you're awake. Wait, what was I just doing? Alright, I was in the forest on the verge of death, and Amy found me in. We almost lost valuable manpower there. We were just discussing what to do with you, Giselle, and we decided to make you village property. Oh, he didn't save me. If you agree to work for us, we'll put this whole nasty mess behind us. You may be worthless in the fields and terrible with the loom, but there's plenty you can help with. What are you going to make me do? You like to get your hands dirty, and consider I found you half dead in the forest. I doubt the rest of you is any cleaner. Amy? It seems we've come to an agreement. I'll keep watch over her starting today. Make sure she stays in line and doesn't steal anything else. The game's very weird. I'm starting to enjoy it less. The way they're looking at me. I have to spell it out. No. Anything but that. Please have mercy. If you're begging for mercy, it means you know you've done something wrong. See, there is one way, Giselle. What? Give back what you stole, naturally. But if you're going to insist that's not possible, then bring us something of equal value. If you can't do that, then your life belongs to the village. The men were cackling. I knew I couldn't do it. They were enjoying watching me squirm. Take your pick, Giselle. Something of equal value. If I can get that, then you'll set me free? In that moment, a little bit of darkness bubbled up in my heart. Oh, this is, if you're in need of the money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food, and then make your way to a larger town. I think I know where you can get something worth some money. The mansion in the forest has some fairly valuable furniture in it. Oh god, when did I become... You can steal some of that to sell for good money. Such a despicable woman. You mean the cursed mansion? You expect us to go there? Are you out of your mind? Anyone who goes near that house is killed by the witch's curse. There is no witch living there. There is no curse. Giselle, what do you know about that mansion? I lived there for a while. Well, for a month. You what? The son of a noble lives there. He's human and he's alone. A noble? What's a noble boy doing this far from his city? I presumed he was banished there. I was sent to the mansion from the capital to act as his servant. Does that mean there's like no music playing, or do they change up the music? And Guardians of the Galaxy then. There's plenty of value in the house. Shelves lined with books. There should be enough to pay the Lord 5 years worth of taxes. Is what you're saying true? I would not lie. As bewilderment sped through Amy's house, I was unable to look at anything but the floor. I couldn't stop trembling. To protect myself, I sold out Michael. You swear there's just a single man living in that house? Yes, it's only him. Alright. If it turns out you're lying, you'll pay. Okay, everyone, you heard her. Tell all the young men to get ready. We're going up to the mansion in the forest. Just to be safe, make sure everyone brings something they can use as a weapon. And you, Giselle. You're coming with us. You'll be leading the way. Listen to me. Don't think about trying to run, right? There's a lot of... Oh, yeah. I never understood that. It's like half the fun of games is the music. On the cusp of springtime, I found myself trekking through the dreary forest I had thought I would never set foot in again. How had I ended up here? How come I could never manage to avoid getting myself in these situations? And who would have guessed that my reason for returning to the mansion would be to loot it? I prayed for God to show even a little mercy and ensure Michael wasn't around, though I knew the chances of that happening were almost zero. After several hours of walking, we broke through the thick woods, and the mansion appeared before us. Usually it's generic ambient music for stream. Oh, that's good they at least put that in there. Like its surroundings, the house is bleak and uninviting. Even the midday sun seemed disinterested in shining its light upon it. Despite on the surface, there not being much of anything impressive about it, the entire mob stood speechless before its overwhelming presence. But the men had weapons, and they were fueled by avarice, which gave them the courage to approach this place they wouldn't normally otherwise. I think consumers are... I mean, it's nice that they have an option. I never see any negative to having more options, you know? Door won't open. I think it's barred from the inside. It would seem someone really does live in this cursed place. I'm honestly surprised. Even more so that it's not a witch, but just a noble. The door's old. We could break it down. Yeah, let's bust it down. Hold on, there's no need to be barbaric. Do you even consider knocking on the door like normal people? You sound like a band of thieves. That's something else coming from you. You think propose this plan, Giselle? You. Alright, man. You ready for lives of luxury? Break down that door. Stop it. It's the damn nobles who make our lives so hard. They deserve to be robbed. Break it. Break down the door. Please, stop this. Stop. But you didn't use it anyways, Darth. Why are you getting bent out of shape about it? Just turn down the music. All their repressed emotions detonated. They battered the door again and again and again, and in a few minutes' time it was on the verge of collapse. They shouted and cheered and hooted like madmen, as my peaceful life came crumbling down around me. Growing lightheaded from the anxiety, I squeezed my eyes shut, unable to bear it any longer, and the deep groan of a door opening echoed through the forest. It would seem you are not aware whose house you're trying to break into. The words went silent, like time had come to a stop. No one could manage to say a word, only stare at the man who had appeared from within the mansion. Surely you know what this place is called. Beneath the dazzling midday sun, he had a bone-chilling alabaster skin and long, nearly translucent pale hair. So surely you came prepared for whatever you would find, and his eyes were like two blazing infernos staring out across the mob. A demon, someone muttered, probably unconsciously. He did indeed look like something not of this world. It's a demon. The rumors about this place were true. Let me save this. We've been going for a bit now. Yes. A cursed demon lives there. Demon? Him? Michael? No, he's not cursed. Indeed, I am cursed. You're not helping the case here, Michael. The witch's curse is real. I've inherited it in its entirety, as well as her purpose. A witch, a demon, a spirit impure. Call me whatever you wish, but the truth shall not change. You carry within me an eternal curse. Behold my flesh, pale as the moon. No red blood flows beneath the skin, as does yours. Behold my hair, utterly devoid of color, offered up to the devil as part of our pact. Behold these crimson eyes, a symbol of the lifeblood spilt at my hands. I shall bring calamity upon you, as the witch of legend. Never-ending famine, plague, catastrophes, suffering for generations, until the moment of your death. You shall regret ever coming near this place. No, have mercy. We were just... It was that woman. She brought us here, tempted us with the promises of wealth, deceived us, told us to pillage this house. We're innocent. Amy, please have mercy on us. Give her to me, then, as an offering. Absolutely, she's yours. Torture her however you please. I have one more condition. You never come near this house again. If you so much as consider it, you will all die by my curse. I swear it, we won't return. Run, get out of here. Without so much as a glance back, the villagers scrambled into the forest, and Amy, the man who had rescued me that night, went right along with them. Is there kindness in the world? I wasn't sure what to think anymore. Don't think I'm helping you. His voice rained down on me, but I couldn't lift my head. There was such a gaping void in my chest. I had no idea what questions I should be asking anymore. What I should be angry about. What I should be sad about. Not even the first clue. Look at me. Look at me, Giselle. Tell me, is it true you returned to the mansion to plunder it? That you brought those men here to rob me of my valuables? Answer me, Giselle. Yes, it's true. I persuaded them to steal from you. Are you really so desperate for money that you resort to looting? Just how low will you go? Not only did you seduce my father, not only did you go digging around for information about me, you brought a mob to this house. And they were armed too. Were you trying to get me killed? Answer me, Giselle. Now you're going to defend yourself? Your scheme failed, so you're retreating into silence? Ah, for God's sake, you sicken me. I'm done with you. I'm done. Leave this place and never show your face here again. As he shouted at me, I stared into his fiery red eyes. A somewhat inappropriate thought crossed my mind. Huh, though he can't get emotional like anyone else. And my heart, stripped raw and cast out to sea, finally sunk deep enough to be crushed by the pressure. Me? What? If you want me gone, then kill me. You can't do it, can you? You can do it, can't you? You can use your curse to kill me, can't you? Then do it, right here. Use your power. Take my life. If you don't want to do that, stab me with your knife. Lots more, kill me. What? I'm done. I can't take it. I'm through with this whole world. No one will believe anything I say. No one cares one bit about how I feel. They just walk over me, laughing. Why? Tell me why it's happening. I never stole anything. What are you talking about? I tried my best to look happy. I thought everything would work out if I kept on smiling. I believe that you would make things better. But nothing ever got better. What did I ever do? Tell me, what did I do? All I ever did was believe. I tried my best to survive, to always wear a smile. If everything's going to be my fault, I have to deal with that for the rest of my life, and I'm done. I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to live in this damn world anymore. Calm down, please. I don't follow what you're saying. My understanding is that you desired money, so you brought that mob, and before that you used my father. You don't believe me if I told you the real story. You'll take your family's word over mine. You don't have any idea what I went through there. How hard it was just to keep myself together. What? I never wanted riches. All I ever wanted was a decent enough wage to allow my family to live comfortably. That's all I wanted. But that man, he used my family against me. He made me... Forced me to... He raped me. What? Again and again, no matter how much I resisted, he wouldn't stop again, and he threatened me, beat me, cut me with a knife. Over and over again. What? My father? Raped you? No one would believe me. I did nothing wrong. You don't believe me either, do you? So I'm done. I don't want this body anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. I can't take it anymore. Help me. Please, set me free. Well, this game got a little more intense. Use your curse and kill me. Give me a moment. I need time to process this. You can do it, can't you? Give me time so we can talk this through. I want to hear everything from the beginning. Inside. Let's go inside and talk. The light hurts my eyes. And you kind of smell. That was a door. I might have best let stay shut. Not knowing the truth would have been so much easier. I would have been made to shudder in disgust, hearing about the crimes of my own family. If I hadn't opened that door, I would have lost everything. That day, after far too long, I finally let myself see the person in Giselle. Oh, we get the doggo butt fire. Giselle didn't recover for some time after I managed to get inside. That was almost a flub of words. I managed to get her inside. Unsure what else I could do for her. I had her sit before the fireplace and wait in silence as she sobbed. I had no idea what one was supposed to say to someone who was crying. Was it normal to offer them a warm drink? Maybe a glass of milk? I don't know. I did know I needed to reflect on things she had said outside and try to make sense of them. And from there, calm myself down and prepare for the conversation we were to have. And unpleasant as I was sure it would be. A considerable amount of time later, Giselle's sobbing drew to a stop, an oppressive silence stepping in to take its place. For far longer than was comfortable, the only sound we heard was the gentle crackling of the fire. I had to say something. I knew that, but I didn't know how to begin. Alright, keep saying. There's like a couple choices coming up soon that affect the rest of the game. I knew nothing about having an honest, face-to-face discussion with someone about the things we were thinking and feeling. But that didn't change anything. I had to do it. Even if it was down a road lays truth I would be happier not seeing. Giselle, could you please tell me what you did at... No. What was done to you at my family's home? How you ended up coming to this mansion and what happened after you left? I would like to know everything from start to finish. Will you believe what I tell you? You never so much as gave me the time of day before. I very much doubt you will find what I have to say agreeable. Will you still believe me even then? Believe my word, a stranger's word, over your family or the people of the village? I cannot yet say. I must hear what you have to say to make that decision. I suppose that might be better. Then you saying you'll believe me unconditionally. Alright, I'll tell you everything. Just know that nothing I say is a lie. Understood. Giselle methodically recounted her tale for me. Oh, I'm glad we didn't have to relive that. She told me how she accepted an offer from the Bollingers to work as an Abigail to earn money for her family. I spoke too soon. Of how my father... What did I call him? Antonin? Yeah. Had other plans for her. It's an easy enough name to say. Of the things he did to her. He spoke dryly, simply putting words to each event, one after the other. I had already seen how she felt deep down, though. I'd heard her pained screams, which were undoubtedly genuine. I didn't think she was trying to deceive me. That was the sound of old wounds being torn open. Even I could see that. Perhaps my own experiences were what allowed me to see that. Regardless, I had realized too late. I should have seen it sooner. She described it all mechanically, to remain detached from what had happened to her, to protect herself. Of that I had no doubts. Still, the things she told me were almost unbearable, and I had a difficult time accepting them. What was I supposed to do when I learned my father was a rapist? How was I supposed to react to that revelation? What was I supposed to think about the fact that his blood flowed through me? I repulsed myself. Do you want all the details? What do you mean? Of the wounds he gave me? I still have scars from the things he did. If you don't believe me, I can show them to you. No, that won't be necessary. I see. That's a relief. I don't think I could have handled that right now. I didn't turn down her offer for her sake. I only did so because I didn't think I could take any more. I averted my eyes to protect myself. Why had I taken my mother's word, brushing aside everything Giselle had said and done? I knew good and well my mother was no longer in her right mind. So why had I thought her letter the truth? Why had I been able to think rationally? There were, I believe, several factors. My childhood, my past, the witch's whispers, and above all, my own character, consumed with distrust for everything. I had to face it now. To open my eyes once more, to look at everything I had pretended away until now, I was not completely blameless for her suffering after all. Please continue, if you will. I left at the point where the mistress discovered that what was happening, I believe. I was sent to this mansion to atone for my sins. Sins that she didn't even commit. It was decided I would be sent here rather than being executed, which is what the mistress wanted. At first I assumed it would be essentially a private prison. When the carriage on the way here I was given a letter. Letter from whom? He didn't say, but your father was the one who ordered me here, so I would guess it was from him. The letter was very concise, simply explaining that there was someone already there. Bollinger's youngest son. It didn't go into any more detail than that, but it did ask me to look after you. You still have the letter? I don't. The coachman took it back after I finished. Thinking back on it now, that was rather strange of him to do. It was just a harmless letter. It was anything but. What? Ah, it wasn't my father who wrote that letter. He believes me to be dead, though he would have sincerely thought he was banishing you to an empty house in a remote forest. The writer couldn't risk leaving anything that might suggest I was still alive. Then who? My brother, I believe. Either Didier or Georges. Well, I guess Didier. I don't like Didier. Maybe it's Didier? Your brother? Why would he... I do not know. I can't imagine why he would write such a letter. Or why he would want me, or want to tell you about me. I don't believe he had any ill intentions, at least. I mean, he asked me to look after you. It makes it sound like he's concerned about you. We're gonna find out how he feels after I get myself something to drink. I'll be back. Break time. So much reading.
$69, nice.
Alright, goodbye Tetris, and goodbye reading. I'll read for another half an hour, give or take. And then probably another stream of this stuff. I think it's alright. But I'm gonna start on the wolf thing probably after my break. And why doesn't he stay in contact? Why does he never respond to my letters? It's a bit late to suddenly start being concerned. No, he never minded that now. Here it be. Please, tell me the rest. Bye, Cerebi. Alright. Giselle resumed her story from the day she fled the mansion, terrified by my behavior. She seemed to be putting a bit more emotion in her tone of voice now. Perhaps because she could see I was more interested in this part. There was a deep sadness on her face as she described that night in the rain listening to the thunder when she gave up on living. And I knew I had caused it. She then told me of the time she spent in the nearby village, how at first life had seemed wonderful. Then time had come crumbling down. Naturally, she wouldn't be here to tell me if nothing had happened there. Once she was through with her tale, Giselle let out a long, heavy sigh as though she had been holding it in for some time. I thought I could hear just a faint trembling in the air as she exhaled. That is everything. Do you believe me? If you don't, if you still think I'm deceiving you, then I won't argue with you. That's fine. If that's the case, please just kill me. Right, you need to tone it down. You're at like a 12, we need to bring it down to like a 7. Why didn't you tell me this sooner? I know I wasn't very open to anything you said, but if that day I found you in my room, you had told me I was mistaken, that the sin belonged to my father, it might not have turned out like this. The knife. What? You were holding a knife. I can't handle blades anymore. Ever since that happened, they scare me to death. Just the sight of one in someone's hand, I started thinking they're going to use it on me. I can't help it. I start shaking uncontrollably, growing faint of breath. The world goes white. I can't even form words. There's nothing I can do. Ah, now I finally see. He was grimacing in pain the day the package arrived when you knocked my hand away. Because I was scared. Because it reminded me of that time. I had assumed he was simply jumpy from a guilty conscience. I felt nauseous realizing I had been pouring a constant stream of salt onto her unmendable wounds. What a damn fool I was. Why did you get so upset at me? Why do you have to point a knife at me? I didn't want you snooping. If you meant to sell information about me, I thought I had to do anything in my power to stop you. I'm still not convinced it was necessary. I was unarmed, I couldn't fight back, you didn't need a knife. I have nothing left anymore. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. You're a jerk. What you did was inexcusable. You may not have hurt me physically, but you still hurt me. Humans are frail creatures, they wound easily. Apologize. What? Apologize to me. I said apologize. I'm sorry. Like you mean it! Again! Put your heart into it. Convince me you mean it. Oh, there you go. I'm sorry. Again, once more, get down on your knees and shout it from your gut. I am so very sorry. That'll laugh. Now clean my shoes. Jeez, you're such a strange man. Strange, you told me to do it. Nothing's going like I thought it would. I figured even if we talked, you would just deny everything I said. I know I'm actually digging it again, Ghost. I like it when it's extra.
Wait, I beg of you.
Otherwise, it's just Pride and Prejudice and I get bored. I didn't think you'd actually listen to me. But you did. You listened, and you looked quite distressed by what you heard. I looked distressed? Oh yes, you sure did. I wish I had a mirror to show you. I'm sure you didn't want to believe what I said, but you didn't once accuse me of lying. You faced up to the truth and you apologized. I seem to have had the wrong impression of you as well. I didn't try to see you for who you were, instead letting myself believe you were someone to be afraid of. To be honest, I didn't like you very much. Okay, Giselle, calm down with the honesty. Feeling was mutual. But for some reason, I don't feel that way now. Is it guilt? I need to apologize to you as well. For what? I led the villagers here. I almost sold my soul to the devil. I tried to sell you out to save myself. And for that, I am truly sorry. I don't understand. Do I need to get down on my hands and knees too? No, that's not what I meant. The blame falls on the village for falsely accusing you of stealing. You are a convenient scapegoat for the real thieves. They planned to take advantage of you from the start. That Amy was probably in on it as well. We get back at you for rejecting his proposal. Plus, giving the village a single target to let out their frustration on would, in a way, help unify them. He used you to meet that end. In order to escape from their trap, you told them about me. But this was after I had threatened you, causing you to flee from this place. You have nothing to apologize for. Still, I feel really bad about it. So, I'm sorry anyway. You're unexpectedly stubborn. But now that we both apologize to each other, we can call everything square. Square? We were both in the wrong, so we apologized and we forgave each other. She gave a little smile, but all I could do was stare at her. Brow furrowed in perplexity, like I was looking at some bizarre Fantasyland creature. The weight of our crimes was not equal. What I had done to her was so very much worse. Furthermore, I am Antonim's son. His blood flows through me. Can you honestly say you don't find me revolting? That you're willing to forgive me for that? I didn't think I would be able to. If I were her, my grudge would extend to all my family, everyone I had ever come in contact with. I can. Although you don't need forgiveness for being his son. Being related to someone doesn't make you responsible for their sins. It wouldn't be fair to blame you for that. You're curious. What? Curious about what? No, not that curious. You're a strange creature. I'm human, you know. Yes, I know you're human. You're making me lightheaded. Is it a medical emergency? Quite the leap in logic. You know, I was at my lowest just a bit ago, and now I'm laughing again. It's odd. I never expected I would recover at all. I was just as surprised as her. She had been through hell, and she had more than enough reason to despise me, to shower me with vitriol. But instead, she was smiling, and even more unexpected was the fact that I felt relieved to see it. I do like that these stories kind of parallel the original 3 that we were told. Wish they could have just got to that part. I really truly wished I had gotten to know him sooner. Yes, I had fled from the mansion in fear of him, but maybe if I just had a little more courage, enough to tell him the truth, maybe he would have listened. I had let my initial impression of him solidify too quickly. I convinced myself he was insensitive and perpetually expressionless, save for the Arctic stare. The man standing before me did experience sadness, pain, distress. At the very least, he appeared to, from where I was standing. Michael was, just like me, an ordinary person. That said, there was still plenty I didn't know. I was still lacking explanations for much of his behavior. Would you mind telling me about yourself now? I'd like to get to know you better. What are you doing in this mansion all alone? Why do you call yourself cursed? I told you everything. It's only fair you do the same. I have no interest in using your information for anything. I have no reason to. Or are you going to keep pushing the master and servant line? Do you still think I have no need to know? Be quiet, for the love of God, stop talking already. You always pick the worst time. What? Excuse me, what do you mean I always pick the worst time? No, I wasn't. Unbelievable, just when I started to think you might actually be a decent human being. Then you go and spout this. No, Giselle, I wasn't talking to you. Who else could it have been? I was talking to, you know, I have a condition that forces me to vocalize objections to my own thoughts. You know, that's about convincing as my allergic to people excuse. Sorry. Weirdo. What crosses did he bear? What secrets did he keep? Maybe the truth was far beyond my reckoning. And if it was, even if he did, please tell me everything. No matter what you say, I won't doubt your words. I will trust you. I'm sure I can accept anything you say. Please. If you don't put it into words, I have nothing to work with. Okay. Where should I start, though? How about the curse, then? Are you actually cursed? That's a difficult question. I cannot, for example, take someone's life with my curse, nor can I bring about disaster. I don't have any magical powers like that. So what you said outside was a bluff, then? It was just a way to chase the villagers away. But you certainly put on a convincing performance. So you can't actually curse anyone, huh? Regardless, I am human. Nothing more, nothing less. So weird. I'll agree with you. At least I consider myself one. Others would disagree, and for that reason, and the reason for that has to do with my body. Your skin, hair, and eye color, right? Right. Seeing Michael under the sun, he certainly wasn't what most people would consider normal. Awe-inspiring, in fact. Giving birth to me, it broke my mother. No, I drove her mad. Not only do I appear inhuman, I'm overly sensitive to sunlight. While a little light through the window isn't much of a problem, I can't be outside directly under the sun for more than a couple hours. When she realized I couldn't go out into the sun, my mother started thinking I was possessed by a demon. So she banished me to this mansion until my curse was broken. That was 10 years ago. Just because you look different from them? The family's reputation was at stake too. I wasn't expecting it just to be simply the albinoism stuff. If other nobles' houses realized that they were giving refuge to an unholy creature, it would destroy the Bollingers. You saw how the villagers reacted. They called me a demon when they saw me. I suspect the rumors about the mansion played a part in that. If nobody thought the house was cursed, they wouldn't have. I'm sure you were afraid as well. You saw me, and thought I was not of this world, that I looked like a demon. I thought you looked like an angel. A what? I at least thought you looked more like an angel than a demon. It never once crossed my mind that you might be evil. I understand your situation now. Because of your appearance, you've lived all alone in this dark mansion for 10 years. It was never really an inconvenience. They bring me all the supplies I need. You big liar. Have you never considered running away? That's not an option. Because of the sun? No, I can move during the night if I really wanted to. I'm being watched. Ensure I don't leave. Watched? They can't allow anyone to find out that I'm alive, particularly at the Bollinger estate. If I were to run, and they were to find out, I would probably be killed. If only I didn't stand out so much, I might be able to stay out of sight easier. But also, I had been holding on to a little hope, I think, that I might be able to return someday. I've all but given up that hope now, though. Not that I ever had enough willpower to really fight for it. See, you don't really need to worry about pitying me either. It's long since become normal to me. It's not something that should ever become normal. What was that really a moment ago? You don't actually have a condition that makes you argue with yourself, do you? Please tell me. You don't have to believe me. In fact, I doubt you will. You're free to think I'm completely mad. Don't worry, I want to know. I can hear the witch's voice. The witch's voice? It started when I first arrived at the mansion. No one else can hear it either. Like I said, it sounds crazy, but not at all. I said I would trust you, so I believe you. Maybe he's not well. Yeah, that has to be it. He's all alone in one place here and bound to start hearing things. He seems like a delicate person, too. Thinking about it like that, I'm starting to really feel sorry for him. Do I want to know what you're thinking? I'm here for you. Huh? I've made up my mind. I'm going to stay here with you. Wait, what? 100% believe you. I don't fucking believe you. Don't worry, I'll shout so loud you won't be able to hear that silly witch's voice anymore. Will you now? Soap. If you hear it again, let me know, understood? You don't have to be afraid. I never said I was. Whenever you hear it, I'll be there with you, holding your hand. Aw. Well, we kind of took the extremely long route. There you have it. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Master. Master. Now where shall we begin? I know, supper. Are you hungry? What should I make? Slow down, please. What is it? If there's something you'd like, I'd be happy to accommodate. You actually intend to stay here again? After what happened last time? Michael, I've read this like 6 times now. He's fucking staying, alright? Because of what happened. Because of that, we're finally able to see past each other's surface. I want us to try again, from the beginning. No, no more. And this time, actually try to be considerate of one another's feelings. It's a promise, Master. Alright. I can stay here, right? I don't mind. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, I'm just getting the whole Bravely Default vibes again. I'm like, that pisses me off too. Yes, Master? If you ever want something from me, could I please ask you to put it into words? I don't have much faith in my ability to pick up on things. Got it. Then there's something to start with. What do you say we open some of these windows? Open the windows? Yeah, we don't have to if you think it will cause you problems, but it would be nice to get a little light in here. I like to put an end to this house being a dark, closed-off cave. Are we in the 1099 era right now? I wasn't the one who barred the windows. You weren't? They were like that when I arrived. Okay. Made it seem like a very appropriate place to lock me away. While I'm sensitive to light, yes, as I mentioned, a little sun through the window shouldn't cause any problems. Alright then, can I ask you to help me open them? Let's both lighten this place up. After a few moments of silence, Michael gave me a curt nod. While we couldn't do anything about the windows that had been boarded up, the two of us forced open the ones that were just covered by rusted over shutters. When we got the first one open, a beautiful stream of light like nothing I'd ever seen before. Flooded into the dark mansion's halls. I'd assumed that spring would never come. All we had to do was talk to each other, listen to each other, and everything else would fall into place. But it was the first step that was so hard, so much harder than either of us had expected. That was a pretty intense first step. Like, I gotta say, I don't think I've had a worse experience with roommates. And now that the ice was melting, we had to treasure that. It might not have seemed like much to someone else, but to us, it was a huge accomplishment. This time it'll all work out. It has to. I had all the confidence in the world when we were together, but now that I'm alone, in the dark, in the absolute silence of the night, I'm starting to get anxious again. I feel like something bad is going to happen. Like I'm going to mess something up again. We took a big step today, and I know I have to keep it together, to keep thinking positive. The goods you're after, Giselle, are not cheap, understand? Thus say the Lord of the host, the woman hath committed 3 sins. She lied, she stole, and she betrayed her fellow man. It's alright, it's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of, Giselle. Whatever happens, you have to hold fast in your faith in the goodness of others. You have no reason to tremble. Yes, come in. That's odd. I don't think I was hearing things. There's no one there. What's that about? Oh, a glass. It's wine, and it's so warm. I guess he heated it on the fire for me. Oh, you could have at least said hi. I have a feeling this is going to work out. That's what I do when my lady friend is super pissed off at me. Just heat up a glass of wine and leave it by the door. That's a smart man. They do mulled wine back then, I'm sure. It's fine. And remember, it's always cold. The light shining through the window is swallowed whole by the darkness, as if to say our time together never actually existed. We saw it, though. Together we watched the light crack open the darkness. I don't know if it was mulled wine, but I usually drink that warm, hot. I'm begging you, please remember. Please find yourself. Please, Giselle, don't let things you felt, the warmth that fell over us, remain lost to you. I might have seen it. Seen that most beautiful light. Giselle. But are these truly my memories? Could they not be someone else's tale, like all the others we have seen so far? It was so bright and energetic, and I'm neither of those. Besides, the maid needs a tale of her own. Needs not a tale of her own. This is not a story. These are memories. Mine and your memories, no one else's. It was all very much real, as were the kinder, happier days that came next. Thank you for letting me know. Oops, nice if I spelled Cerebi correctly. Kinder, happier. Stop parodying things. Those words create a strange warmness within my chest. At the same time, they make me indescribably anxious. Is there really happiness to be found down that road? Even if our past doesn't lead to happiness, it couldn't be worse than where we are now. Come, Giselle. The spring that made us more than just strangers. Oh my. I'm reading as fast as we can. We're going. Master? Come on, get up. Up with you. Master! See, what did I tell you? It's so much nicer in here with a little light. Morning? Wait a second. Don't you hide under your bedspread. Get out of there. I'm fine with my room staying dark. What's she even doing in here? Master, you agreed that I could open the windows. I did, yes. Don't worry, I'll put curtains up. If it gets too bright, you can draw them. Or you just take the best part of the outside and squeeze them all into the same few hours. You don't have to go outside in the sunlight for it either. Just listen to all the wonderful sounds. Enjoy a song of the birds, the swaying of the trees, the rustling of leaves. Am I being too pushy, as I feel right now? Kind of. But it wouldn't be you if you weren't, so for now, I won't get on you about it. Also, I know your real intentions. No, never mind. I completely misjudged you. You're the exact opposite of what I thought you were. What did you think of me? Let's see. I thought you were cold and cruel, heartless and incomprehensible. I'm beginning to get a better idea. Try to put on airs, but you're really rather childish. You have a short temper, but can be surprisingly playful. I read this already. What else? You have a pretty difficult personality, too. There's not a single good trait on that list. Now, hear me out here. That's not everything. You gave me a chance to talk, and you listened intently. You can be kind of nice, too. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me, too. This is just the beginning, after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? Not waste any time, then. What do you say we do something today that we haven't been able to before? Where should we begin? Oh, I know. We can get this place cleaned up. You want to clean? That's not well. Going for the morning time. Now that there's some actual light in here, we can probably see all sorts of things we'd probably rather not. Like dust. All over the place. My vision was still slightly unfocused, having not completely escaped from Morpheus's embrace. But I could see well enough to catch her smiling brightly. That was the first time I had gotten a good look at her in the light. I could see facial features I had missed during yesterday's commotion, and those glittering eyes. Even a trace of the tribulation she had endured tainted her pure jade eyes. She's surprisingly good looking. I'm clearly not myself right now. Is something the matter, Master? I know, you're still half asleep, aren't you? I guess I'm just gonna have to throw my best bucket of water on you. What is a best bucket of water? I'm awake, I'm awake. Is there something on my face then? Just far too amusing a sight to wake up to. Amusing? Oh, just get out of bed already. What a noisy morning. Diabetes, if you were just going in and out, I'm sorry, but it's like 20-something hours you missed then. I got my first decent look at Michael's face under the light in that morning. Watching him stifle a yawn as he crawled out of bed. That's my voice. Thanks. All the little details I hadn't been able to pick up on in the darkness, his expressions, mannerisms, and the way he looked at me. I could see facial features I had missed during yesterday's commotion, and those vivid, all-consuming red eyes. I was probably, no, almost certainly, making a really dumb face at him. Is it just me, or is he kind of, no, very pretty? How could I have not noticed that until now? Wow, I can't even look him in the eyes. Yes? What can I do for you? They reconciled. Is there something on my face? What? He told her the story and all the bad shit that's been going on. And they both said sorry. And now they're trying to live their life together. Hair monster. Excuse me? No. Your hair is really long. Yeah, that's it. Way too long. Is that any way for a servant to speak to her master? I'm just kidding. I don't have any interest in holding your status against you anymore. I see. Really hard to tell if he's joking or not. So about that cleaning. Can I wash my face first? What? You're going to help? As I just said, I'm not going to act like I'm superior to you anymore. What are you snickering about? I can't help it. I'm happy. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go bad somehow. We don't have happiness in this game. If my hair really does bother you, you can cut it. I can cut it? Of course, I'll give you the best haircut you've ever had. Oh, but maybe I should warn you. You'll want to stay perfectly still. I'm a monster of a pair of scissors. My sister always said you were likely to lose an ear as you were your hair whenever I cut it. You stay away from me! Oh, we got our old dog butt fire back. I was shocked at how much more comfortable I felt around her only one day following our opening up to each other. Maybe this was normal, I had simply never felt it before. I didn't know. Borderline personality disorder? Got it? Alright, I'm ending the stream tonight.